Let's do this. Alright, welcome ladies and gentlemen. This is game 1 in a best of 5 between China and Brazil. For those that missed it, Yo and Lix, they beat Tim and Vivi to be the only Chinese team that move on in this tournament. It's a little bit different because this is a World Cup tournament, so normally you only have one country represented or one team for each country represented in the World Cup. Well, for Age of Empires, because there's so many good players for China, they had to have two, so they had to have a face-off, which was a best of 7. We have Yo, he is in the blue, playing as the Ethiopians. We have Lix then for China, he's playing as the Persians for this one, and he has an idle villager. First game of the day, there we go, he sorted it out. Up against China then is Brazil, and we have Miguel for Brazil, playing as the Mongols in the green. And then in the yellow, we have Huns for Riut. I spoke to Miguel a few days ago. I try and speak to the players as much as I can to just get some insights on what they're thinking. Miguel said that he thinks Brazil are favorites. He said if they get past China, they're definitely favorites to win it all. He said after Brazil, it obviously has to be China or it has to be Norway. We will see Norway and Canada playing later on today versus Canada. This is Arabia, and then I believe the Civ settings are... the Civ settings are they cannot repeat picks. So that means Mongols and Huns cannot be reused for the Brazilians, and that's the same with Ethiopians and Persians for Yo and Lix. And already at the start, we see a scout fight. This is dead even, and it's so close, in fact, that we might see... Well, actually, we might see a restart. You see the host time there is at 3:55. You would have to call a restart before 4 minutes. And we're always 90 seconds behind in these games. It's just how it works. So yeah, maybe that little bit of a pause was because of a restart from one of these teams. As the scout fight is going to continue here. LB, this is live. Yes, this is live. So that's why we have the pauses and all of that. Anyway, I should say, as I will say for all the games, if you're seeing this game on YouTube, that means it's an exceptional one. If you want to see the whole series, that will be in the video description in an unlisted video. I never know, because I haven't casted these games yet, believe it or not. I never know what I'm planning on doing with YouTube, so I just put that out there, that way people know if they want to see more games. Was there a restart called, or are we going to play this one out? Lix is on 2 sheep. He has a weak scout. A pretty rough hill on the left here. I think there'd be one restart. And okay, there was just a pause at this point. So maybe they're still paused. I don't know exactly what's happened, but maybe it's being discussed. Maybe it's being discussed because they would have 5 game time seconds to call it. Yes. They're playing. Okay, there we go. They're playing. So who knows the reasons for the pauses? Let's talk about the civs. So 2v2s, so often it comes down to having one person go archers, and then another person go scouts. We have Ethiopians for Yo. He is so good with Ethiopians and his archers. And then Lix tends to go with scouts and then into knights. Now, is Tato still in the Twitch chat, or is he lurking now, or what? I hate to call Tato out of his lurk mode, but Tato was in the Twitch chat prior to the games today. And he said that he gives Brazil the edge. But for China, it comes down to how Lix performs, because Yo is very, very good. I think that's what Tato said. So yeah, we'll see how Lix performs today. Yo is the best Chinese player in the world, I'd say. But we'll see how his ally performs. Fire, who's Brazilian, says SY is greater than Brazil B. We're getting conflicting opinions. We're getting different opinions. Okay, well... it's been a rough start for Lix, at least. He already researched Loom. I noticed that. He was on multiple sheep. His boar was beyond the wood line there. He is pushing in some deer, so we'll see. Welcome everybody into the stream, both just arriving and with the hosts. Fire's just kidding around, so yeah. Such a troll, man. Such a troll. So I think we'll see scouts for Lix and then archers for Yo. Sometimes you see a drush into archers or man-at-arms into archers. It's always possible. I think straight archers. Then you have Miguel. Now, Miguel is Mongols. And Mongols are a fantastic scout civ because they can up the feudal age faster than most civilizations as they hunt quickly. Miguel is already clicking up to feudal age. And then you have Huns for Riut. Now, both of these civs could go scouts. Both of these civs could start off with archers. So I'm curious to see what the play will be. My thought process is it will probably be archers for Riut. Because, or like, oh, actually Drush into archers for Riut. And it would make more sense for Miguel to be going scouts because he's already going to be in feudal age. And he wants to take advantage of that faster uptime. So, just double checking, triple checking. Yes, Lix is on the way up. He will be going for scouts. What about Mr. Yo? Well, Mr. Yo, with the exception of his gold, his base is really good. Could easily wall here and wall here, protect his wood line, protect his berries. And those are the areas that normally a Drush would hit. Now, where is the Drush for Riut? Okay, here he comes. So, this is... I don't know why this is happening. Oh, God, Yo's going to lose his scout. Okay, well, you know, it's not typical to see a Drush in this situation, but perhaps Miguel's is going to buy Riut some time to get to a faster castle age. Riut's base is also really good. Look at this. He walls in his woodline, his berries, his gold with one single wall off. And Yo does not know the Drush is coming, so he won't have the scout for it. Actually, I think that Yo will be surprised by this. This is the importance of the scout. He lost his scout, so he didn't even see the barracks. He saw a lot of farms, and maybe that's a tell, but here we go. He sees the militia, and he can't get to gold. Well, this is already a good start for Brazil. Already a good start, just to keep Yo off gold. Now, of course, Yo is Ethiopian, so he gets some free gold here, but that will not last very long. Incoming scouts, incoming spears from Miguel. Going aggressive versus Lix. And I think Riut will be satisfied with his position. 27 vills at home. He's about to click up to the next stage. Unfortunate the deer's running back. I think he's trying to push them in. It's all about eco balance now for Riut. See if Riut is able to get to the castle age. And wow, he's going to kill a villager. That villager just gets wedged in there, and Yo could lose too if he's not careful. Most successful Drush you will see today, guys. Yo has to fight with villagers to even get to his gold and get his second archer range up. And look at the idle time for Mr. Yo. Strong start for Brazil. On this side as well. Miguel's already here, of course, after hitting feudal age faster. 4 scouts, a few forward spears. And it's only 2 scouts at the moment for Lix. Lix must have lost his other scout, his starting scout, because that's dead. That's not around. So, if there's any Brazilians out there, or any Brazilian fans, you guys are probably feeling pretty good here for your team. I think it's up to Miguel and Riut. Well, I guess they can't really double right now, right? Because Riut's probably going fast castle into something like cav archers, but I guess it's on Miguel to keep Riut protected until he does hit castle age. Okay, here come the scouts. Miguel realizes he can probably shift over here to hit Yo again, and he'll do that. Really well done. Already kills an archer. Needs to be careful because of the spear, but he could micro down the spear and go for vills. Man, China's in trouble, man. China's in trouble. And it's such a good base for Yo. Guys, this is just because of the lack of Yo's scout. If Yo wouldn't have lost his scout, he would have seen the Drush. He would have had his gold walled in. He wouldn't be building this tower early. I mean, all of this stuff is so bad for Mr. Yo. I think this puts Riut in a very strong position. This puts Riut in a strong position because the strategy of Drush Fast Castle is very risky. Because you can easily be pressured in feudal age before you get to castle. But here, I don't know if Yo will be able to pressure him. Riut's on the way to castle. He'll be there before 17 minutes. And Miguel picked off another villager there, so that's a few vill picks, a few archer picks. And Mr. Yo is at 24 villagers. 25 villagers now. Just a disastrous start for him. So now this puts pressure on Lix. It's funny. Curse the commentator. I said that Lix will probably be the weakest one for SY. Not that he's a weak player, of course, but he's not normally... He's just not Mr. Yo, right? But now this puts pressure on Lix to do some more damage. And I did see his scout was here earlier, but I believe he might have killed a villain and lost his scout. It won't do too much to Riut, as Riut is fully walled, preparing for the cav archers. And Miguel is, well, he's walling up. He's protecting his base with spears. I think Brazil will be happy about this. Miguel's not going to be happy to lose this villager, though. That was probably avoidable for Miguel. He could have used this scout and this spear to protect that area. But, you know, at the same time, he's at Lix's base. And this is all before Riut starts making those cav archers. So, I believe that what Yo should try and do... Well, normally you'd want to hit Riut before he hits Castle Age, but unfortunately he's here too late. So perhaps he should wall heavily at home and send units to Miguel. Because what you can do is, if you attack Miguel, that means Riut has to help a little bit. And that might buy his team a little bit of time. But already, Miguel's on the way to Castle Age after doing the damage he did with scouts. And this is just a very, very strong performance from Brazil in Game 1. I mean, no other way to say it. So, Riut could go immediately to Lix, loop around behind the wood line. He can see this. He's good scouting, considering he doesn't have any cartography. Fantastic scouting. Using this scout here, guys, so he knows his target. He knows the gold's here. He knows the wood is there. He also knows everything about Mr. Yo's base. And here come the cav archers, and the cav archers are not needed to protect himself or to protect Miguel. Let's see if this TC goes up, though. Mr. Yo might get lucky. That TC is going to be denied. I think. It's going to be denied. 97.1%. The memes are real. The memes are real. 97.1% of the audience would not believe what percentage this TC got denied on. That's alright. Riut will finish that, and here comes Riut with the cav archers. Okay, so they're aware that Yo is not fully walled yet, and Yo has to smell trouble, and Yo, as he's killed 2 villagers, he's gonna lose 2 villagers now, most likely anyway. Yo's not anywhere near clicking up to Castle Age. Again, this puts pressure on Lix. Lix needs to go double stable for sure. If they have any chance, he needs to go very aggressive. Down go the units for Mr. Yo, even adding stone walls now. I just don't like the position. Oh god, and there was an overchop there, so he could lose another one. Just saves her. But man, the amount of time that Miguel and Riut have had at home is insane. Already on TCs, making cav archers. Already on TCs here, Miguel making knights and camels. This could honestly be GG. Like, this is not a situation that Brazil should lose from. Let's just put it that way. Can SY come back? Yes, probably. But this is not a position that Brazil would normally lose from. So many cav archers incoming now from Riut. Just run away. Let Miguel go in with his knights. Little bit of a 2v1 on Mr. Yo. And Lix is... he doesn't know where to go. He doesn't know where to go. He's sending his knights forward. He's sending his knights to Yo. There's so many places he needs to be right now. Mr. Yo is a quarter of the way to Castle Age. Losing some of his army. Massive amounts of idle time. And I don't think Lix has enough knights to help. Honestly. Let's see here. Knights and camels, that's enough for the cav archers. But Riut can hit and run. Miguel needs to get a few more knights out, I think. There we go, and there they are. They're just in the wrong position, right? Because they're going towards Mr. Yo. He chooses to take this fight. Good surround on that knight. And the cav archers come back in from Riut. This is a fight Brazil should win. Okay, so what I believe will happen here, I could be way wrong, but my guess, the only win condition for Yo is if he stays 1 TC. Remember, he invested his stone into the tower and the stone walls, so he doesn't even have stone for another TC. I think the only way that China wins this is if Yo stays on 1 town center the entire game and is just aggressive. Gonna be very difficult. Already 50 villagers for both Miguel and Riut, so they have a huge eco lead. Yo's also losing some of his archers. This could be a mistake from Miguel, though. Miguel loses a knight and a lot of HP. That was unnecessary. To be very careful. Because Lix will be going all in as well. Not necessarily 1 TC, he needs eco, but already getting chain barding armor. T90 official, why did Huns go CA and Mongols went Knights instead of the other way around? Well, you have to keep in mind, Mongols, they might have strong cav archers, but they're not cheap. Hun cav archers you can mass easier, and also you don't have to build houses, so you save a lot of resources. So Hun cav archers are definitely better in Castle Age because you can make more of them. What do you think, guys? I know many of you are just getting here, but what do you think? Is it possible? Is it possible for China? I think we'll see a 1 TC play for Mr. Yo. Ethiopian crossbows, faster firing speed. Maybe. Maybe. I'd say it's not going to be easy. But what a start for Brazil, man. What a start for Brazil. Made it look very easy versus Mr. Yo. But Mr. Yo will know better. He'll know better. He lost his scout, and that's why it all happened. So, can't make those mistakes. Yeah, he's definitely staying 1 TC. If he's getting heavy plow, he's definitely staying 1 TC for a while. You rarely see that upgrade at this stage of the game. 60 Vils for Lix. Let's give the guy credit. 60 Vils didn't have much of an ally in this game. He has lots of camels, 21 military, lots of camels, chain barding armor upgrade with forging. Miguel, he's making knights. These are knights that he cannot upgrade. Well, he can upgrade to cavalier in the next stage, but that's not normally what you see from Mongols because they lack that last defense upgrade. So at least the Chinese players are working with their ideal compositions at the moment. I think that Riut would probably switch into cavalier and imp, and then Miguel would switch into the Mangatai. So there is that. One villager goes down for Miguel, and Brazil's under pressure right now. But now husbandry, all the cav archer upgrades coming in for Riut. And all they really need, Brazil, is to hold. They have a big eco lead as a team. They need to hold. But Yo will send forward more and more crossbows. These cav archers are tanky, man. They're so tanky. And that's a good start for Riut, at least here. This isn't the best. Okay, he needs to get Miguel in front. There we go. Will they take the fight? It's a lot of camels. Well, the reason they'll win this fight, if they win the fight, is because of the cav archers. But all of Miguel's knights just melted. A lot of camels died as well. And still Riut has his cav archer number. Miguel needs more stables. He needs to finish that. He needs more units. Thumb ring on the way now for Riut. That's a big one. That's a big upgrade to get. It's not easy to do either. Especially when you have 80 villagers only 30 minutes into a game. Now, Riut has ballistics, guys. Riut has ballistics. It's just that he's up against Ethiopian archers, so he needs that thumb ring upgrade for the firing speed. At least I thought I saw him researching ballistics. Maybe it was Yo that researched it. I don't know. But we'll see if Brazil can hold this. Nice micro from Riut. Now Miguel's coming out with more knights, and I think Brazil should hold this. The camels are going to die pretty quickly to this many cav archers. Miguel's close to his stables. Even repairing one is probably a misclick. We'll send out a few more knights. Lix is coming in with reinforcements, but it's too late. And down go the crossbows and advantage Brazil. And this is kind of what I expected to see after how far behind Mr. Yo fell earlier on in this game. Still one town center. Okay, 2 town centers now, so he's thinking about adding eco. But is it too little? Is it too late? The double's coming to Lix. Lix is on 5 military. It is 31 for Riut. It is 15 for Miguel. And Yo is now needed to help. They're not pushing back. They need to be pushing back if they're behind. That's the problem. So guys, to everyone joining the stream right now, and I guess to anyone watching the YouTube video, just want to put this out there. I'm totally a wuss. You can say it. I know. I'm running on 4 hours of sleep today. I plan on casting this best of 5, going offline, taking a nap, and then coming back and casting the Norway vs. Canada set. So, if mistakes are made, I apologize. Hopefully my casting mistakes won't be as bad as Mr. Yo's mistakes were in game 1 here, but I'll do my best. I'm running on fumes at the moment. And coffee. But Riot's on the way to the Imperial Age. Lix has lost 2 stables. I don't see any way back for China. I don't see any way back for China. They have no advantages. They don't have an advantage in economy. They don't have an advantage in position. They don't have an advantage with military. Riot. I guess if Riot loses all of his cav archers before upgrading them, it could be a big deal. But he's going into Paladin. I just heard the stable, and I ski the scale barding armor upgrade. So he's making more stables. He'll go into Paladin, and then Miguel, he'll go into Mangadai. I think everything has gone as planned for Brazil with these civs. And definitely did not go as planned for China. Mr. Yo just with a shocking start. Again, if he didn't lose his scout, he could see the Drush was coming. He would have been on gold. He would have gotten his archer ranges up. None of this ever would have happened. So the importance of scouting shown here. Oh, and this is a great trade for Riot. To trade versus this many crossbows, when you're not even planning on sticking with crossbows for very long, well played. Now, is Fire still in the chat, or anyone who's like 2K5? I guess it was a compliment to Fire. Technically, Fire's like 2K4, but okay, Fire. So, I am curious. If the game was closer, I feel like going immediately into Cavalier in Riot's position would be a bit risky. So, he's doing that, but that would be the weak point here with these civs, right? I think the weak point, if Brazil wasn't so far ahead, would be the transition from Cav Archers to Cavalier and then Knights to Mangadai. Because, obviously, Persians, they would stick with their camels or their Knights, and then Ethiopians would stick with their archers. So I'm correct in saying that, right? I hope so. Yeah, Riot doesn't really care about the Cav Archers now. He's putting his resources into the Cavalier upgrade. Yeah, okay. Thank you. Yeah, it would make sense for them to hit Mr. Yo. Miguel, he has 1 castle, 2 castles, soon 3 castles. So again, getting Bodcanero, getting his ranged upgrades. You know, I'm actually quite impressed that Yo has stabilized. I think that I possibly judged this one a bit too harshly. Yo will be in the Imperial Age with a lot of Ethiopian Arbalest. Like, he's for sure going to get the upgrades. He'll have over 30 units. And Lix came out of nowhere with his camels. So Lix will go heavy camel. I mean, this is doable for China. Keep in mind, a lot of the military for Riot is not military he's upgrading. So these Cav Archers are just Castle Age units. Yeah, Lix is at 130 villagers. Cav Archers can still get some use, though, with eco rating. There we go. Yo will lose a few units. And here's the army from Lix. Here's the army from Yo. They will have to chase that. And Paladin already from Riot. Wow. Already getting Paladin. Insane, man. Insane. And I think if they just need to make Yo dizzy. Just run around in circles. Kill a few vills here. Kill a few vills here. Just keep moving around. And this is currently giving Miguel the time he needs to get Bracer, get to Elite Mangadai, and get to their ideal army comps. Riot gets in, Riot gets out, he loses some Cav Archers, but no biggie. And they are denying the trade for SY. Brazil already have the markets. These Brazilians, man, they're so freaking good at team games, it's insane. Already trading, Paladin's almost completed. This is wild. And Riot says, I don't need the stone. Here you go, Miguel. Miguel will look to build a castle on this hill, most likely. And he's already on 3 castles producing Mangadai. So this is where Yo and Lix need to push. They need to hit Riot in a 2v1 with Arbalest and Camels before Miguel is able to get here. So Paladin completes. Riot will probably... It's hard for me to judge these fights, in all honesty. I don't think this is a fight that he'd love to take at the moment. Oh, and the camels are coming in. Yeah, Riot needs to leave this. So Brazil are investing into trade. Very good for late game, but that is gold they don't have at the moment. And here come the Mangadai now for Miguel. And he has a lot of them. Castle's in good positions too. Ooh, and Mr. Yo's losing a ton of hills. I bet you he wanted to castle this hill or castle here. Both of which will be denied. And he loses vills with gold. So those villagers did not drop off the resources. Okay, now Elite Mangadai's on the way. And now this is where it gets dangerous for China. But I don't know. Like with Lix's boom right now, a lot can happen. Lix is looking to push here. He can get into the trade line soon at this rate. The Arbalest can kill the Mangadai in these numbers at least. That was an awful fight for Brazil. Miguel needed to wait for the Paladins in front. Lix already has Heavy Camel, full upgrades. Now he's going for Cavalier. This game is much closer than I ever expected because of Lix. Lix had a crazy boom, and Yo just kept his army numbers alive, Castle Age onwards. Actually, it's not entirely true, but the point is he has a lot of military right now. So typical of China to still be alive in this game. So impressive, but I don't like their late game positions. They don't have the hills. They are starting to trade wall. That's good. And they are starting to trade as well. Sorry, back to the fight here. Just wanted to point that out. Miguel is at 28 military and Riut is at 30 military. It is 60 for Lix, and it is 50 for Mr. Yo. And, wow, China are really going to stall this one out and take it late, aren't they? Look at this. The stone wall's going up. Fortified wall research in. Vatslav is somewhere smiling. Now, Riut actually gets in with a few paladins. That's nice. But Yo sees that at least. And so there's a hill here for China. There's a hill here for Brazil. And yet again, not the best fight for Miguel. They just lack the numbers. If it was 60 paladins and 60 Mangadai versus 60 Arbs and 60 camels, they could win the fight. But now Lix is getting paladin. My god. What a game from Lix. And well played Riut to get to those gold vills, but that will be short-lived. So Lix and Yo are making moves right now. The Arbs and the Camels pushing towards Miguel. Miguel, he sees the castles there. He sees the army. He backs away. And Riut's on the other side, so the Brazilians are split up at the moment. More trade for Brazil, which is good, but still won't have the army numbers. Impressive play from Lix. And now Yo's slow start doesn't really matter, right? It's just late game thinking. 100 plus vills, starting the trade. Just a matter of what do you prefer? Do you prefer Huns and Mongols, or do you prefer Persians and Ethiopians? Well, both teams are going to have strong siege onager options. You have Ethiopian SO, you have Mongol SO. You already have onager being researched now for Miguel. Onager shots can be helpful. I like the Mangadai more than I like the Arbalest. So there's that. But then again, you have the Paladins of Persians, which are stronger than the Paladins of Huns, at least with the fights versus archers, because they have that team bonus. Onagers not easy. It's not easy to land shots with onagers, but when you have the amount of gold income they're going to have with the trade, it's worth going for it. Now look at this position. This could be an important area. Lix is so close to the trade. So again, hills, hills, hills. Lix has the hill, Yo has the hill, and Miguel wants to push this castle. Well, if this isn't a sign that this best of 5 is going to be sick, I don't know what is. I'm impressed. Generally, I don't like to be proven wrong, because then I have to admit that I have made a mistake in my assessment of a match. You know, I'll be honest. I like to be right about things. I think I know what I'm talking about for the most part. But, I think I had this one wrong. Mr. Yo and Lix, I mean, especially because of Lix's boom. I did a crazy job. Now, look at this. Riut and Miguel choosing to use their speed. They're going right to Mr. Yo. At the same time, Miguel's losing his castle. And he's lost a lot of his Mangadai, and he'll lose his onagers. So I hope this gamble's worth it. No! No! What just happened? Wow, Mr. Yo was trying to run, and some units ran back into his base. Riut hopped underneath the gate, put his units on stand ground, is leaving the gate open. He lets his pal through. He runs in with the Mangadai, and now the Paladins follow. What a play from Riut, and what a play from Miguel. They'll get right into the trade route. And now Mr. Yo is panicking. He's trying to place a castle, but that castle's not going to go up. That castle is not going to go up. Now, Yo and Lix, they still have all their military here, and they're going into Brazil's trade because Miguel sent all of his military to the other side. So they could also kill the trade. It's just much more difficult for SY to kill these units. That's the problem. There's a lot more units in the trade of China. This is something that Brazil should be able to clean up, and they are going to clean that up. And so their trade will live. And I'm not sure that there will be much trade left for China in a few minutes here. Halberdiers coming back for Mr. Yo. Really not ideal to see him going into Halberdiers. Sure, it helps versus the Paladins, but the Mangadai chew them up. It's better to have full Paladin, full Mangadai, or full Arbalest, full Paladin, or full Camel or something. Keep an eye on the trade numbers. It's actually not too bad for SY at the moment. You have to think the next wave incoming from Riut and the next wave incoming from Miguel will be that much stronger because currently SY are distracted and back in their own base. Yo has lost a lot of vills to this. He's at 70. And he is feeling it now. Very little resources. But hey, they'll clean it up finally. They'll clean it up. Lix got here quickly. Yo got here quickly. The castle goes up. And they still have, well, 30 trade carts as a team, which isn't awful. It's not awful. It is only 40 for Brazil. But that is a sign of the difference. That is a sign of what is to come. The difference between the army comps is that there's 2 mobile units for Brazil. Mangadai, they have their firing speed. That's great. They have a lot of damage output. They can kill siege. That's great. But it's the speed of Mangadai that makes them deadly in these team games. I just saw a signal from Mr. Yo. I think he was saying we need to keep an eye on this area. So again, a mistake from Mr. Yo. And yet SY can stabilize. They can still hold here. But I do fear for Lix now. Because the whole time that Riut and Miguel was losing army inside SY's base, they were making more army, and they were preparing for this push. And Yo has such a slow composition, he's trying to get there to help, but he's just too far away. And in come the Rams, in come the Paladins, in come the Mangadai, and it's all Lix, all on his own. Guys, this is where you research boiling oil with Persians. Get that useless unique tech for the Rams. I would laugh if we saw it. It's such a useless unique tech, but hey, he needs every little bit of help here to keep these Rams from killing his castle. Fortunately, he has the hill. He does kill the Rams. Yo is arriving as we speak. Now, a lot of the Camels, a lot of the Paladins are dying for Lix. That's the biggest concern. His Trebs die as well. Lix's army is nowhere to be found, and Yo is still like, I got you, bro, I got you. He's trying to get here. He's going to be too late. First wave of Rams goes down. The next wave will probably kill the castle. And now Lix is down to 130 population. His eco's right here. And he's only at 10 military. Meanwhile, Riut's at 30. It is now 50 plus for Miguel. That is Mangadai and Siege. And I just don't know, guys. I don't know if SY could do this. It's looking rough right now. It's looking rough. Quite a first game, though. I didn't expect this to go an hour long, and here we are. Strong start from Brazil in Feudal Age and Dark Age. Dominant Castle Age. But SY were able to come back. But now, is it too late? I don't think they have the trade numbers, SY, to be able to make up for the deficit. He needs enough gold to make 30 Paladins to just be even with Riut Lix. Like he needs a lot of gold, a lot of stables for production. And honestly, he might need to have more Paladins than Riut has, because of the amount of Mangadai that Miguel has. And look at these Rams go, man. They are killing everything. Another beautiful thing about Mongols. Now, oh, onagers, let's go. This is Yo's point of view. He can see the onagers are there. It's so hard to out-micro onagers, especially when there's Brazil versus China lag. And oh! Oh, that's a huge shot. Unfortunately for Miguel, it was uphill. But can he get another shot in? And boom! A huge shot lands. Surely that's the GG, man. Surely that's the GG. That has to be it. Yo will try and micro this. There's no way he survives with these Arbalests, though. He'll lose more to the Onagers. He'll lose more to the Mangadai. Am keeping an eye here. Miguel keeps his castle up, and Yo loses his Trebs. Yeah, too little too late for SY, but still great performance from them. I love Mongols, man. Mongols are so good. When you get those Mangadai upgrades, when you get the Siege upgrades, it's such a fast and deadly civ. Now, I don't think that initial Onager shot would have landed if it wasn't for the drill upgrade. Because Yo has to react that much faster because of the speed of the Onagers. Now, any other team in the game calls GG there. Any other team. But China, no. Yo says, don't resign. I'm getting banking, and I'm going to sling you the 227 gold I have. And we've seen Chinese teams come back from crazy situations. Again, these teams just do not quit. It's a mental thing. It's a mental thing, and it's something I respect, because there are other teams who would call the GG at the first sign of weakness. Not China, man. Not China. I just don't see, like, of course we're spectators. They don't know what we know, but I just don't see how they could ever come back from this. But I can really respect these guys for it. I believe Riut will make siege workshops on this side so we can cut through the trees with onagers and go for a trade raid. Nice decision. I don't know if it's needed, but it's nice to have that option. This is over, man, but I love how they do this. I love how they do this. Wait! Yo's getting a siege onager! What? Yo is getting siege onager. Where is he getting these resources? Okay, so he's hoping to hold with siege workshops on this side. Okay. Well, I think Lix will lose far too much. I think, again, it will be too late. Lix doesn't have food eco right now. And he won't have paladins here in a second either. Then he won't have stables. Very difficult to use siege onagers against the paladins and the Mangadai anyway. Riut getting bracer and chemistry, I think, considering some cav archers again, maybe? Not sure. Brazil is definitely looking to cut through. And yes, they're cutting through. Well played. Didn't waste any time there. And they'll be in the trade. On both sides, honestly. And there's the GG. Okay.
Merry Christmas.
Okay, so we saw the power of Mongols and Huns. Mongols and Huns are not available to Brazil anymore. Yo and Lix could go for Mongols and Huns on their home map. They could go for any civ except Ethiopians and Persians. Great first game. The home map will be picked by China, so we'll find out here in a second. And I don't know. This whole event has been really fun for me, man. This whole event has been really fun for me. I mean, we've seen Brazil and China play many, many times before. But I'm especially excited to see Norway play later today, because we don't see MBL and Viper play together as a team often. Then we'll have Slam and Mentalist, most likely, up against those two, so that'll be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to the action that will unfold before our eyes today. Man, I'm exhausted, though. I'm gonna cast, I hate to be a complainer, I'm gonna cast this best of 5, and instead of staying on all day, I'm gonna go offline, take a nap for 2 hours before that next best of 5 starts, I think. Man, last night was brutal for me, but that game was brutal for China. What a play from Miguel. 470 units killed, 212 units lost. Power of Mangadai right there. Honestly, you have to credit Riut. Riut's Drush did the damage that won this game. It all stemmed from that. And let's back out and let's prepare for game number 2. Oh, Snippy, nice. Okay. Snippy, nice. Snippy made some cool emotes. Worst caster ever. Bro, it's 10 a.m. I normally have a lot more patience with my chat, but considering I only got like 3 hours of sleep last night, as I explained earlier, by the way, I was tempted to like lash back at that individual. I was tempted to be like, how dare you? How dare you judge me? But don't worry, I didn't say anything, okay? We're fine. Scores updated, 1-0 for Brazil. No, it's not the fact that I woke up early, guys. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. I'm sorry, I had a really rough night. Willis35, thank you for the 19-month resub. He said, 19 months of this crazy age train. Nice game, T90. I've got blue coffee on reserve. Do you really? About 15 cups left? Nice, I ran out, dude. I went through that blue coffee pretty quickly. Thank you, Willis, for everything. You know what you do, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Martian, thank you for gifting the sub to Fire. Fire, good to see you here, man. Good to see you here in the chat. Dutch Class gifted a sub to Kamisha. That's nice of you, Dutch Class. Good to see you here as well. We had Jam Vanderloff with the year now. What's up, man? I'm throwing you a salute. You can't see me back here. And a lot of new subs to the stream. Dreb, Johnny, and Peasty. Thank you, guys. So we're not going to waste too much time here. We'll get into game number 2. And here we are. Hey, R. Briggs. Glad your internet's working for you. Oh, we got some Nomad. Okay, let's go. Let's go. So, welcome, ladies and gents, to game 2. I had my caps on because I was talking to Vivi earlier. You have to have caps lock on when you're talking to Vivi. All right, we have China and Brazil. Brazil had a very strong game 1, and I'm sure they'll have a strong game 2 as well. These Chinese players love their Nomad, and they've chosen Nomad for their home map. We have Lix in the red. He's playing as the Chinese. And then in the blue, we have Malians for Yo, and he's placing his TC more to the north. Then in the yellow, right next to Lix, we have Riut. He's playing as the Chinese. And then in the green, we have Malians for Miguel. So both of these civs, very, very strong Nomad civs. Arguably the best combo on Nomad right now, but I don't want to get into that. So Malians and Chinese for both. This is a best of 5. So if you're seeing this game to YouTube, it's just because it's a great individual game. The whole best of 5 will be in the video description, though, if you want to see the whole thing. I never know how I'm going to upload things. I wish I could know. I wish I could tell you that I'm going to upload game 1 as an individual game. I don't know. I have to look at all the games I've casted and decide. You know, I have a review board I send things by, and they have to vote on if the game's worthy of YouTube. Wouldn't surprise me to see a restart from one of the teams. Again, you can see the host time is at 3:56. Teams have until the 4-minute mark in-game to decide on if they want to call restart. It's going to be quite interesting because these players are on the other side of each other here. But, again, wouldn't surprise me to see a team call restart, and there definitely is a pause in the future. We'll find out soon. I'm kidding, there's actually not a review board, but my point is I'm pretty particular about my uploading schedule, so just making dumb jokes, the usual, man. Martian, you're right, man. He said, if you're feeling tired, just consider this practice for the 24-hour stream. Yeah, it's alright. I'm just a big baby. I complain, but I continue streaming, okay? Like, I could have easily canceled the stream today, but I didn't want to miss these games for the world, so we'll make it happen. We'll make it happen. So, I'm going to guess that someone called a re. But I've just tapped out. They're all still in the game. So maybe they play. Maybe they play this one out. Okay. Well, I'm kind of excited. I'm kind of excited to see this one played out. I see Smarthy's in the chat. For those that don't know, Smarthy is the Nomad expert. If you have any questions about Nomad, don't ask me, ask Smarthy. She just comes out of nowhere when she sees a Nomad game. Okay, so let's talk about resources, because on Nomad you start without a TC. You then have to choose a TC location, the gold, the stones, all the food in different positions. Riut, he's finding a boar now. He has these deer. He has some sheep. So that leaves them somewhat even on the food, I'd say. Lix has scouted this boar, so he could take this. And he's going to go for this one because he thinks Riut sees it. Now, funny enough, Riut doesn't know about that. So typical Nomad things. Both teams have individuals close together. So we have Miguel and Yo close together. Yo's position. Oh, well, this is interesting. Yo is about to wall in the vills from Riut. Riut milled in the north for a faster start because there's a shorefish there and the berries. And I don't know what the rule is on when you can vill fight. Is it you can't fight in Dark Age? Is it before 5 minutes? I forget. Nomad has these special set of rules. Now technically walling is not against those rules, right? But anyway, again, there's a pause. This is what you get with live games. People want live games. There's going to be pauses. There's going to be restarts. It's not just going to be nonstop games like recorded games. But he has deer. He has a boar here. And then there was already a boar for Miguel. Assuming he didn't shoot that with his TC. Because it doesn't look like he has a lot of food here. That is a boar carcass, right? I'm not crazy. Yeah. Did he shoot that with his TC and kill it? He doesn't have a lot of food in the bank right now. He's getting loom. I think Miguel might have killed that boar with his TC. Well, anyway, he does have some sheep. And players will have the fish as well. Miguel's on 2 fishing ships. I'm almost positive he killed that with his TC, which is a huge mistake. Okay, but he sees his boar, so it's fine. It's fine, guys, it's fine. How's the walling going? Well, Riut. Did he lose a vill there? Yeah, he lost a vill. Sorry, I'm having trouble following everything. There's no structure to this because of all the pauses. It's weird. So he lost a vill, and he was able to wall in his vill to save him.
Yes.
But I like the start better for SY. I mean, more resource access. Lix had his boars faster. So he'll actually have a total of 3 boars after he gets this one. Everyone's level on villagers now, believe it or not. But again, I just like the position and the start a little bit more. Especially if Miguel killed the boar with his TC. So you might see it again here. It's common on Nomad to see players trying to weaken the boar with their town center. It won't be the case now because Miguel has loom, but I think he killed it. Another boar being brought in now for Yo. As far as the player roles go, it's quite complicated to predict. I mean, I think that it wouldn't be too unheard of to see a tower rush here between Lix and Riut to get to feudal age as fast as possible and make towers. Lix can expand, though. He is stone and gold to the south. It's so much easier for him to run. So much easier for him to expand. Whereas Riut, he can't go too far to the north because Yo will be there. Now, what is this from Mr. Yo? This looks like a lambing villager, if I've ever seen one. Or a walling villager. Probably lost a sheep here because they'll sheep scout to find out where their opponents are. And if that's the case, he's probably looking to wall in Miguel a bit. Riut building a lumber camp. He will click up to feudal age. Will he be first? Oh, wow. Okay. So Riut should be faster. And he has stone right next to his CC, so he doesn't even need to build a mining camp. So he clicks up. Lix, is he going to click up soon? Or is he just going to expand to the south, like I said? He's sending more hunters down here. He's going to the deer. He sees the boar there. He's a lot of food, and he's going to now dock. Something that Riut has not done, remember. So this will come down to if Riut can do enough damage with his tower rush, because there'll be a lot of extra economy income for Lix. And here comes the wall off from Mr. Yo. Miguel hasn't clicked up yet. Mr. Yo has not clicked up yet. I think they're both going to start walling here. Actually, I think Miguel wanted to stop the wall off. That's a weak villager. The vill must have ran into the TC fire, so he wants to kill that vill. This guy runs back to the TC. Miguel has to run back, and we'll see a bit of a vill fight. This is what you expect with Nomad. Sloppy stuff. And what do we know about Chinese players? They excel in these situations, man. Well, it's about to get really sloppy over here, so let's see how Lix can do. Riut already walling in a villager because he wants to tower there. He has a lot of stone. He places one tower. He'll place another tower. Lix sees this one, and Lix can't stop that one. Lick's still in Dark Age. He needs to get to Feudal Age if he wants to defend with towers or anything. Mr. Yo walling up. Miguel is about to hit Feudal Age. So, I guess the Chinese guys are going to stay in Dark Age forever. They must love their economy. This is crazy. Lix can't wall out the tower rush. And I don't think he sees this. Yeah, he's not aware that this tower's here. So he can't really stop this from happening. The walls are definitely delaying Riut a little bit. Riut would have to run... No, he'd just run right in. But what can he deny? He can deny another wood line, maybe. He can deny the gold, he can deny the stone, those are important. Here he's denying another wood line. Riut is all over the guy. It's not good on your eco to tower rush like this, though, guys. Riut doesn't have a lot of food income at the moment. He's only going to stone and wood. What will Miguel do? Go scouts, maybe? Yes, Miguel's going scouts. I like this. So, what happens is you tower rush. That forces opponents to run. And Lix is happy with running at the moment because he can find resources. But he can't find resources if scouts are waiting for him. He can't find resources if scouts are chasing him down. And there's the signal from Riut. He's saying, Miguel, go this way and try and find this guy. Riut is building a gate and he's attempting to build a tower right next to the TC of Lix. And Lix has had enough of this. Lix has had enough of this. He's looking to rush this down. He's building a counter tower. He's stopping this with vills. This could be a nightmare situation for Brazil. Also could be a nightmare situation for Lix because he doesn't know the scouts are incoming. Just a matter of how quickly they get here. Riut only has one unit supporting from Miguel. It's just one single scout. And Riut has a bunch of weak ones. Also, these guys are trapped in, so he loses one. He'll lose two. He will lose 3 villagers. The tower gets denied at 94%. And so, that's gotta be a big advantage for China now. Miguel needs to do something to Lix. He needs to find some weak vills. Because if he doesn't, Riut sits at 22 vills. Very low eco. Yo, he's been untouched here in the north. He's probably fast castling, actually. Yeah, this is bad for Brazil now. That had to be more successful. Miguel has the food. Lots of food income. He has the mobility of the scouts. Does Lix expect this, though? Just wonder if he's seen any scouts around. Maybe he saw that one. Maybe he saw the feudal age time for Miguel and expects this. Because he's starting to wall in his vills. And he's also getting a boar down here. So those vills will be exposed. Okay. Making a few spears, though. I think Lix recognizes now he should have an eco lead. Just needs to wait for Mr. Yo to help him in Castle Age. That tower was weird. That tower was really weird for me. Even if he got it up, I don't like it. I don't like it. I think the next tower would have been better here. Would have touched some of the wood, the gold, and the stone. Just want to double check and see Yo's situation. What's Yo up to? You know, Yo might go into siege and monks, actually. Lots on gold, not even a barracks. Okay, never mind. He's got a barracks. Probably knights and camels then. Just an idea. Let's talk about the fish situation. It's 12 fishing ships for Mr. Yo. 12 fishing ships, and it's 3 for Lix. 7 for Miguel, 0 for Riut. It's a huge economy lead with both vills and fishing ships for China. And the scouts from Miguel, not really done that much, have they? There's spears everywhere for Lix in defense. Lix will probably hit Castle Age faster than Riut at this rate, as Riut's trying to stabilize his economy after the YOLO tower rush. A little bit of fighting on water now, and the fish are running for Miguel. So they're both going to be fighting on water. That's something that Yo could prioritize here as well. Okay, that's what it is. So it's 2 dock, fire galley production, and he's going to go for some spears and monks. So I like prioritizing water. That's a big reason why Yo has the lead over Miguel right now is because of the fish boom. Miguel is also Malians. Miguel will be in Castle Age soon as well. You know, he is down in fishing ships at the moment. He hasn't done any damage on water, and he only has 1 dock. So, Perhaps he just gives up on water and goes land? 2 stables? Yeah, I'm thinking he goes more aggressive on land than Yo is at the moment. Miguel scouting this, sees the monastery, sees the siege workshop from Yo, so he must know what's coming. And Riut is sending food to Miguel. So I think Riut is so far behind, he's just going to sling what he can to Miguel and hope Miguel can carry his team to victory here. Riut might continue with towers. Honestly, wouldn't be a bad move. If he'd have more support from Miguel because he's sending Miguel more food, then maybe he could actually push with towers. Don't know what she's doing right now. Where's she going? Don't tell me she's going after the boar. Don't be greedy, woman. Oh no, okay, she's running this way. Maybe considering towers. But down goes Yo's villagers. So that's nicely played from Miguel. And Miguel has his scouts here and he'll kill a monk. Okay. So yeah, likely a tower there. Riut will tower with his stone and sling his food and gold. And Lix is about to hit castle. Oh, guys, and Lix is going to build a castle. Lix is going to build a castle, assuming he can keep himself protected from the incoming pressure from Miguel. Yeah, it's awkward for Lix because Yo's on the other side of Riut, so it's not easy for Yo to send support. That's a lot of knights coming in now. So Lix has to wall up his eco. He walls with the monastery, which you can use for conversions. That's also nice. Pikemen for Mr. Yo now. Mr. Yo has more villagers. He has more fishing ships. He will probably kill the fishing ships from Miguel before you know it. He has monks. He has pikes. He has siege. Mr. Yo is playing really well right now. And, oh, there's the castle from Lix. There's the castle from Lix. And Miguel and Riut could deny this. If Brazil's going to win this game, they could do it right here. 85% in the castle, though. 90%, 95% in the castle. Well, it's still a 95%, and Lix needs to have another whack at this. I mean, the castle's going to go up, right? It's going to go up. Just a matter of time, but he did lose a lot of villagers there. He's down to 28 vills. Miguel's making sure to stick around. And in comes Mr. Yo, though. Miguel has very little response to... Miguel has very little response to Mr. Yo. The castle goes up. And now Riut's in trouble. Riut's in feudal age, so Riut could lose just as many vills, if not more, than Lix just lost. And wow, now Miguel is losing his stables to conversions. Actually, yeah, he loses one. And loses the knight. Just Mr. Yo is in such a strong position. Lix is honestly not an awful position. I don't know if Miguel can do it all on his own here. 41 vills versus the 49 of Yo. Yo and Miguel have lost some fishing ships, so I'm unable to focus on that. It is something... Miguel could push back on water, maybe. But still, he's behind in villagers. He's behind in position on land. And Miguel doesn't have an ally really in the game right now. Interesting amount of towers from Riut to protect his eco out here. He has a lot of farms. He needs to find a new TC spot soon. Needs to decide on where to set up shop. He needs to save some of that stone, some of that wood to build a new TC. Nah, just forget about it. They called the GG. And yeah, I didn't think it was likely. Yo went with the monks and the pikes. Straight counter to the knights. Can get knight conversions. Also, the monks were converting buildings, and I felt like it was just a matter of time. Okay. So that means the score is 1-1. Exciting stuff. Kind of a weird tower rush from Riut, though, right? And for his brilliance in Game 1, he was not very brilliant in Game 2. I just think that the Brazilians, while they're good on Nomad, all these pro players are good on all maps, but they're just not as good on Nomad. And maybe the decision-making wasn't there. Because Lix was in a similar situation. They're next-door neighbors here. So Lix could have been thinking, okay, I'll go YOLO Tower Rush because I'm scared of my opponent. But Lix just sat back, expanded to the south, got eco, and protected himself, and then waited for Mr. Yo to do the rest of the job. T90 official, are you casting after you've done casting the Norway-Canada match? So again, as I've said, I'll cast this best of 5. I will then go offline. I will relax a little bit, take a nap, because I didn't get much sleep last night, and then I'll come back on for the Norway-Canada match. After that, I'm not sure. It's hard for me to know. But Yo leading in every category there, food, wood, and gold. Good stuff. Game 3 coming up. That will be the home map choice of Brazil, so if they don't like Nomad, they don't have to deal with that anymore. And the score is 1-1. Trush is most overused strat on Nomad. Well, 8th Wonder, I think the Tower Rush is strong if you have the scouts nearby. Miguel's scouts were too late. If they're going to go for that strategy, they need to do more damage to Licks, and so Miguel needs to be in Feudal Age faster. He was in Feudal Age far too late. If he went to Feudal a minute or two faster, he would have had 4 scouts next to that, and Riut would have never fallen off there. That's my thought on the matter. Graves, what's up, man? Happy to have you here. Happy to have everybody here. Good to see you guys. Joda, I am from Pennsylvania, man. I'm from Pennsylvania. Dark Mizo, thank you for the 4-month resub. He said, have fun, man. Cheers for the show. You're welcome, dude. Rage, thank you for the 9-month resub. He said, it's a girl. Yes, our Twitch baby is born. I don't know what her name is, though. Honestly, I'll let you do that. CMD, thank you, man, for the new Prime sub. Thank you, guys. Smoking Panda says, T90 official, hey, I'm new here. How to subscribe? If you want to subscribe on Twitch, it's right above the video there. There's a little subscribe button. Click that if you'd like to get involved. Well, considering these games have been live, I can appreciate how little waiting time we've had between the matches. This has been cool. We have Game 3. Mr. Yo's in the blue, playing as the Mayans. And then we have Licks in the yellow, playing as the Franks. And then for Brazil, we have Mayans for Miguel in the green, and Riut is in the red, playing as the Indians. Wow, okay. So what do you prefer? Indians? Or do you prefer Franks here? Well, both are incredibly strong. I'll talk a little bit more about that. Let me just give a refresher to those joining the live stream today, to those that might be watching this on YouTube. This game is Game 3 between Brazil and SY. This is part of the Age of Empires 2v2 World Cup. It's been an exciting tournament. This is a best of 5. This is a quarterfinal. So it's a round of 8, right? Really exciting stuff. We have this set today to cast, and then I'll be casting Norway and Canada later on today. So we'll have Viper and MBL versus Slam and Mentalist. There are other matches in the future. I'm quite excited. This tournament's been cool. When I first saw it announced, for whatever reason, it didn't excite me. And then I saw the lineups, and I was reminded just how many strong countries we have in Age of Empires 2. So, after I casted the first day, it's been one of the more impressive tournaments of the year, I'd say. Really nice to see countries represented. Especially, I think, because we have a lot of people in the community from these countries. Maybe not many Chinese people here. I don't think we have many Chinese people watching my stream or my videos. But we probably have some Brazilians in the chat. And I know we have some Norwegians, and I know we have many, many Canadians. So, congratulations to you guys to have a country so high up there in the Age of Empires rankings. Unlike me, I'm an American. We didn't have any Americans sign up, so feels bad, man. Well, in these games, you can see a lot of laming. Miguel went out for the lame, and it's going to be denied. Nice shot from Licks just to protect his eagle there. Or, not to protect the eagle, sorry, protect his boar. Because otherwise, you know what he'd be saying. He'd be saying, I know pig. That would be good. This map, by the way, this is Sahara, so, I guess we should probably talk about that, huh? Very open in the center. Very open in the center. There's a lot of elevation there. You have somewhat standard resources. You have a main gold, you have a secondary gold, and then I think that's it. The rest of the golds are going to be found scattered on the sides, like near the corners, like this here, for example. So, something to keep in mind. Normally, it's about, I think, oh no, it is 3 golds. Yeah, 3 gold per player, except you have a main tile, or a main section. Sorry, I can't speak today. I can't cast today. And then these extras, and then the additional golds in the corners. It's like any open map where, you know, it's hard to wall. As the game goes on, you need to be thinking about trade, so the corners, all of that. And it's like most games where we will see scouts and archers to open most likely. Riot's having some trouble bringing in his boar here. This is a problem, man. This is a big, big problem. Yo found the pig, and Yo has an eagle. Eagles are stronger than scouts in Dark Age. So Riot needs to get his pig, and he's just forced to fight here and lose scout HP just to buy his villager a little bit of time. And also Riot has to be quite careful here. He could still lose the Vill. He could still lose the Vill if Yo wants to lame this. Now that is a loomed villager, but MBL could do it. MBL could do it, but we'll have to see if MBL can get some laming in later on. He will not do it. But man, that's just so bad for Riot. The boar's delayed. He had to garrison his TC there to shoot arrows, so those villagers weren't collecting resources at that time, and then he missed. He's a weak scout. Chinese players and their lames, man. Chinese players and MBL. Like, honestly, MBL should sign up for SY. Sorry, Aftermath fans. Imagine MBL with Yo Licks. Imagine a team of Tim, Vivi, and MBL. Like, if there wasn't that language barrier, how dominant would that team be? Nobody would have pigs on the enemy team. Nobody. But anyway, Riot still clicks up to feudal age. I'm just making a big deal. Making a mountain out of a molehill here. Riot's on his way to feudal age. He's done a good job. He will go for scouts. And Licks will also go for scouts. Now, a lot of walling from Miguel. So this makes me think he'll go for a drush. And he is going for a drush. So here come the militia. So probably a drush fast castle. We see this a lot nowadays. And perhaps a drush fast castle in the crossbows or plumed archers. And we're seeing the same from Mr. Yo. So the decision now is from the Mayan players. Do they get to Castle Age a bit later and hold out for a castle and go plumes? Or do they go to Castle Age a bit earlier and go for crossbows? Crossbows would have more of a dominant effect early castle, but as the game goes on, plumed archers are stronger. I don't know. We'll see. It's very risky to depend on just palisade walls, especially if you're Miguel. Because if someone shows up with archers and scouts at this section of wall, there's no way he can wall behind it so far away from his main TC. Which I guess is why he's currently double palisading it. Smart. In comes the drush from Miguel. This is something that Licks is aware of, so Licks shouldn't take much damage here. And then in comes the drush from Yo. Riot, remember he has a weak scout, so he has not scouted his opponent. Yeah, I don't think Riot will see this, but he is placing walls, so might be okay for now. Did Yo lose his Eagle Warrior? I think Yo lost his Eagle Warrior on the wood line. So that's a bit sloppy from Yo. Yeah, here come the walls. The drush will get in, so for SY, they'll actually do a bit more. Now, I noticed this. Licks' berry bush was at 30 food. He's just over foraged. Let's see if Miguel is paying attention to this. Oh, yes! Miguel sees it. So, okay, he can get right in. And will he get a Vill pick here? He should. Well, successful drush there. Well played. This is good for Brazil. So Miguel was able to get a Vill pick. He was also able to weaken a lot of Licks' scouts, which already have more HP as Franks. Okay. But now you have the drush from Yo. Yeah, Yo shouldn't kill a villager here. But then again, there's a lot of lag between these two teams, so I imagine it can be quite complicated to judge it. Well played from Riot, though. Really well played. He'll kill the drush. Is Yo on stone? Yo is on stone. Is Miguel on stone? Miguel is on stone. Look at that. Okay, so full walls for Miguel, full walls for Yo. The drushes are finished. And I doubt the scouts are really going to get in. You have to make the scouts, just in case there is a gap. You have to make the scouts in defense, but sometimes the walls are already up. Riot's just using his units to protect his gaps until he gets this closed off. And Licks is going Stonewall. Okay. Wow. So if he's going Stonewall, is he going to Sling? If you're investing stone into walls this early, that means you probably won't be going for town centers in the Castle Age, which means that you might not be concerned with booming up, and you might send all your food and gold to Yo so he can fast imp. We see it a lot. I don't think we'll see the Brazilian sling. Just palisade walls. This looks fairly standard. But that's just a lot of castle age walls for me. It wouldn't surprise me to see Lix build a market soon. And boom! Alright, Lix is going to sling, guys. So we have Indian camels. And soon Mayan plumed archers. For Brazil. They're relying on their own economies. And then for China, we'll just have Mr. Yo. Full plumed archers. That's it. But if he gets 500, 600, 700 food with gold, he could click up to the Imperial Age right after hitting Castle Age and building that castle, so he can mass the plumed archers, and he can push in the Imperial Age. Now, if you recognize this and you're Brazil, and they actually won't know right now because they don't have any scouting on Lix, so they don't know he's stonewalling. If they saw the stone walls, they would know for sure. They don't, though. If they were to know that, what you have to do is either A, sling Mayans as well, or B, if you have confidence in your own abilities without sling, you need to keep Yo back, because Yo will be the only one fighting. So you need to hold, you need to keep Yo from getting advantages, whether that's map control or eco. Just wait, and the longer you wait, the longer you hold without taking a lot of damage at your base, the stronger you get against the sling. But the problem is, when you're receiving sling, you're not only receiving the food and the gold needed to get upgrades and to get to the Imperial Age, you're also receiving stone. So that means Yo can get to a second and a third castle faster. It's a strong, very, very, very strong strategy. Now, I've been talking about sling, and this whole time I was not looking on the right-hand side. And Lix is on the way to Castle Age. So I think I'm just flat out wrong on this. I just gave you the whole, all the info on the whole sling. Lix is on the way up. So don't listen to a word I just said. Actually, no. Listen to everything I said. But if there is a sling, in the future, you will know. I'm sorry. I already said I'm running on 3 hours of sleep. That's my excuse. I don't think we'll see sling because he's stonewalled. He has just enough stone and just enough wood for 2 more town centers. So I think we'll go into knights. And somehow he's faster than Riut is as well. My bad, guys. You have no idea. I'm really exhausted right now. So Yo builds the castle. I was so in the zone on that too. I had my whole explanation planned out. I talked about it for 3 minutes. It's not even what we're going to see. But it's fine. Yo will go 3 TCs. Castle's up. Castle's up for Miguel. He'll go 3 TCs. This is fairly standard. Yep, there's the 3rd TC, right? Yep. So pretty close. And pretty impressive from Lix to get that many stone walls and still be able to go to these town centers. Riut, when you commit that much stone and that many resources and that much time into that, it normally puts you behind. Riot's actually behind, so it's a bit weird. He'll go Indian camels. I don't know. I like the knights a bit more. I like Franks and Mines a bit more. The Indians' choice might have been because they expected Franks. But if this was the old Indian camels, I'd like them because they'd have the melee armor. I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. I don't know what Twitch chat's preference would be. You also have to consider if you want to save Indians or Franks for a later map. But, Indian camels, when they're Imperial camels, they can fight anything in the game. So it's just as strong as Frank Paladins, I guess. So you have to consider late game composition is going to be plumes and paladins, or plumes and Imperial camels. So, anyway, find out soon. Who kept you up all night? Dude, nothing kept me up all night except my dumb self, so I just couldn't sleep. I fell asleep at 1 a.m. and I woke up at 5. Some of you guys might have seen me in Slam's Twitch chat. I couldn't sleep, so I just started watching Age at 5 a.m. Then I went grocery shopping because I had nothing else to do. And then I started the stream at 9 a.m., so... See, we're splitting hairs here. Mainly because we don't have a lot to talk about just yet, because players are prioritizing their economies, but I think I would prefer Frank Paladin over Indian Camels in late game. But then you have to consider that you have the Indian Boom with the cheap vills. But I don't know, like, Riot's build, not looking very good. Like, he's on 3 TCs, 42 vills. Lix is at 52, and Lix fully stonewalled. This is not normal. Normally, if Lix invests into that many stonewalls, you would think he'd be behind in vills. That's not the case right now. That's not the case. T90, were you tossing and turning because of new love? I was tossing and turning because someone tower rushed me once, and I had a nightmare about it, and I couldn't get back to sleep. That's what it was. No, honestly, to be completely honest with you guys, I haven't been able to sleep recently because anytime I finish streaming, I have so much adrenaline pumping, and it's so crazy that I can't relax. And it's a good thing. That's a good thing, right? But I'm not used to it yet. Like, the streams have been crazy recently. The numbers coming into my YouTube, my Twitch, just crazy recently, and I can't relax. Like, I've been trying to to do the Finland thing and sit in a sauna and just relax. I haven't been able to because things have been nuts. So anyway, thank you guys. Thank you guys for the support recently. It has been crazy. It's not a bad thing, of course. Like, it's a good reason to not be able to fall asleep, but I think that's what it has been. Yeah, just blaming it on Twitch chat, that's all. So, Miguel's on the way to Imp. Interesting. Okay, Miguel's on the way to Imp. What about Yo? Yo is... Let me just double check on something here. Yeah, Yo is not on the way to Imp. He has a few more villagers. Now, I would prefer to be in Miguel's position, because he'll have the Imperial Age advantage, and he currently has the military advantage, so possibly, if he holds that, he could build a forward castle, and then they could push Lix's stone walls. Ah, Riot is slinging. Okay, so, again, I talked about the sling thing earlier. I was just getting it out of the way, okay? Now you guys know. Brazil's the one slinging. So, Riot is Castle Age slinging resources to Miguel. Miguel's thinking of going Eagle Warriors. Wow. That is a surprise. That is a big, big surprise. I'm not sure if I like it. But okay. Lix is on the way to Imp for SY. He will, of course, want to go for his Paladins. Yo will soon click up to Imp as well. I don't know about the Castle Age Sling. I feel like the benefit of Fuel Age Sling is you can get to Imp much faster. Or get one of your players up to Imp much faster. Like, sure, in theory, Riot, he's slinging more resources now. But SY already had an eco lead. And so they won't be able to chew up Yo's army numbers. Yo has so much army momentum. I think massed plumed archers in the Imperial Age can kill massed eagles, but Elite Eagle is on the way now for Miguel, so maybe this is the time. Receiving resources from Riot, something that SY might not even expect. They definitely wouldn't expect eagles. If they're expecting sling, they're probably expecting plumes. I wonder if... You know what? I bet you they could know this, because Lix can see there's only +1 on these plumed archers. And Miguel's obviously in the Imperial Age. So if you put 2 and 2 together, they might be thinking eagles, actually. Another forward castle from Miguel. Nice walls from Lix. Just to double down on these walls is a smart move so the eagles can't get into his eco before he's ready. Mr. Yo's on 2 castles. Mr. Yo should be sticking with plumed archers, and he'll be relying on his paladins from his comrade as the melee. How many barracks? 6? 7? Yeah. But I don't know. It's hard to judge the sling, right? Because you don't know exactly how many resources are going to be coming into a person. You don't know how their eco balance is going to be, their own economy. Okay, petards from Miguel. I like this. They know they need to get through. There are the petards. There's only houses here. That one stone wall's not going to be enough. That house will go down pretty quick. Elite Eagles already. Iron casting on the way. Full defense upgrades. And there's no way Lix can wall behind because the plumed archers are here. So Lix, he actually deleted a villager there. Don't take it out on the villager. He wants to build a castle, I bet. But I don't think he can. Oh, God. Quick! Gate it! Gate it! Oh! Oh, my God! Will that be enough? Will that be enough? Can Lix just time this right? Keep this gate up, Lix, and get the castle up. If you do, you give Yo time to come help. Here comes Mr. Yo. It's gonna be enough. It's gonna be enough to delay. That's all he needs to do is just delay a little bit. Okay, the Eagles are in on the other side. The Cavalier is finished. And Miguel probably feels like he has to take the fight now or never. Mr. Yo doesn't know where to go. He has a Elite Plumed Archer, but he's not here to help. And Lix, he's gotten the castle up. But his ally is nowhere to be found. I think this drops off for Miguel, though. I think this drops off for Miguel at some point. Once the Cavalier Plate Barding upgrade's finished, once the Plumed Archers arrive, this could be tough for Miguel. Like, that's not a bad fight for Lix, considering that he is an ally waiting to join. And look, that many Elite Plumed Archers can two-shot the Eagles. These Eagles will, well, most of them will die. Yo will clean up the rest, and it'll now be a 2v1. Yeah, Lix was just waiting for the Plate Barding upgrade. It's a huge upgrade there. And now Mr. Yo, after already killing the initial Trebuchet, kills another one. His ally's gate helping him again. I think he needs to run, though. Just get the Cavalier in front. Or not. He'll just sit here instead. Lix, get your Cavalier here, man. I don't like that. It looks cute. But why not just run the Plumed Archers behind your ally's Cavalier? He's still losing the Plumed Archers there. Run the Plumes back behind. Like, Miguel is not stopping with his production. Miguel has 6 more barracks going up on the front. 6 more barracks, and he's getting Bracer. So he might consider mixing in his own Plumes. Let's keep in mind that Riot has 140 villagers. So at any point in time, if he feels like his team is in a good spot for it, he could actually go to the Imperial Age and help with camels. And Brazil already adding the trade as well, so they're taking a trade lead. And now it's only 20 military for Mr. Yo. It is 60 for Miguel. 60 military. I don't know if Lix can survive this. Yeah, Lix doesn't have gold. It's so interesting how this shifts because of the sling, because it looked like it wasn't going to do enough. But the sheer numbers, the spam, they are now El Dorado Eagles, so 100 HP. Pretty much destines Lix to death. And I don't know if Yo will have enough. You need to have more than 30 Plumed Archers versus 60 Eagles, that's for sure. Wow. It's funny, I saw a bunch of people in the Twitch chat say, Yo is gonna kill everybody now. Everyone's like, Yo's gonna kill all. This is over. SY is gonna win, but I don't know. Lix is down to 70 population. He has no resources. He could lose more villagers. He's trying to run with some. And I think eventually, I mean, Riot doesn't need to right now, but eventually Riot could just go to Imp and start helping out. I didn't like the plume engagements from Yo. I don't even think he needed to rush to kill this Treb, if you recall. He stood here, started killing the Treb, and then started losing some of his plumed archers. Also stood between the gate and the wall when I think he should have run into Lix's base, had Lix in front of the engagement, and his plumes behind. I think it's tempting to sit in those choke points sometimes. Like, if that was a 1v1, that would have been his best situation. His best position, but in a team game, I'm not so sure that's the move. Actually, I'm sure that's not the move. Lix, what? Wait a second. Hold the phone. Lix is at 58 vills. All of his TCs are on fire, and he's researching Paladin. Well, Yo must have sent him a crap ton of resources for that. So Yo has just sent resources to Lix. China have this way of just not dying. And now it's 60 plus plumes for Yo. It is 70 eagles for Miguel, though. And Mr. Yo, what are you doing? Be careful, man. Be careful. Don't do this again to me, please. I don't like it. I don't like it. Send your plumed archers back to your castles. And then maybe delay and wait for any paladins that Lix can send. I don't know how many Lix can afford on his own. Can't be much. But, okay, Yo just sent him 500 food and 500 gold, so it's something. Now, at what point does Riut go imp, guys? Miguel's researching Onager, so he's still considering doing this all on his own. Riut has been funding these eagles. So Miguel doesn't necessarily have the economy on his own to keep making these. And for that reason, resources are continuing to be sent. Miguel now has tons of gold, tons of food, but he's only one man. He only has 200 population, so he needs to make it count. He's at 150 pop right now. He kills that castle. He surrounds the plumed archers, and Miguel's doing it. Miguel's doing it. Pack up the trebs, send them forward, kill another castle. This is a fight that Miguel should continue to win until Lix arrives with paladins. It's just, how many will he have? He's only at 77 pop. He has 18 military on the overlay. A few eagles back here for Miguel. I guess he's just denying the trade, right? He's not killing anything right now, but that's nice to see. And he's chasing the plumes down. The more he chases the plumes back, the more castles he can kill. Oh, but here comes Lix. Here comes Lix. I don't think he'll... Actually, he might save that castle. He will save the castle, I think? No, damn it. It's alright. I misjudged that one. It was close. So, well played, Miguel, to get the castle. Only 2 castles now for Mr. Yo. My casting has been subpar today, man. It's been weak. Now Yo has a meat shield. Now he has those beefy Frank Paladins in front. I wonder if Brazil starts freaking out. I wonder if we see camels now from Riut. I don't know, though. Like I mentioned the trade earlier, Riut's the only one with trade, so he has to sling gold to Miguel. Miguel needs to be receiving resources. These eagles are not cheap. And he has 90 of them. Or 80 and some change. With a few rams, a few onagers around. Subpar casting is why people sub, really? I thought you were going to say superb. I thought you were going to say T90, your casting is superb. Otherwise, people wouldn't sub, but you said subpar, so now I'm a little bit upset. But I get it. Subpar. Sub. Okay, okay. Yeah, I'm trying my best. I think more than anything, I'm really self-conscious, so I should just shut up and do my thing, right? Aquino, good point. I want to check to see if Riut has the Sultan's upgrade. However, I can't check right now. I can't miss these fights. A lot of huge fights coming in. Lix is stabilizing, guys. 43 military for him. Probably because he's receiving food from Yo. It has to be. Yo doesn't need the food anymore. 0 trade for SY, but they're thinking about it. Now we have the fortified wall. Onager, Siege Ram, Trebuchets, Eagles, all Miguel for Brazil. 111 military on the field for him at 46 minutes. The power of the sling, the power of Brazil. Lix saves Yo's castle for now. He picks off the Treb, and he has a lot of paladins in front, but is that enough, man? Down to 70 military now for Miguel. Paladin's really working. I think SY can hold this. I think SY can hold this. 60 military for Miguel. 80 plus plumes for Yo. More paladins coming in from Lix. 40 military now for Miguel. He went from 110 eagles, 111 eagles to 40, just like that. SY are holding this. Are you kidding me? Wow. And there's no way the Siege Rams will kill this castle now. So what do you do now? What do you do? You can't get Riut in the game. Because if you try and get Riut in the game now, if he goes up to the Imperial Age, that's just 1,000 food and 800 gold that Miguel doesn't have. So Miguel needs to continue to fight this, and I think Riut needs to continue to sling at the moment. And I just don't know how Lix was ever in the position to get Paladins. I guess Yo banked up so many resources as Mayans. You know, he doesn't need the food now, so he's been sending that. Probably sending some gold as well. Crazy stuff, man. And actually, plumed archers are going towards Riut at the moment. And there's rams over here. So Yo recognizing the weakness of Riut That poor elephant, man. I don't even know why Riut made that. And Yo wants to go right to Riut's base. On the other side, we have a push from Miguel. Now keep in mind, Miguel will be a bit stronger on this side because Yo is attacking his ally. But Yo has so many plumes. Now, he's here with plumes. He's at Riut's base with plumes. 50 military for Miguel, only 130 pop for him. And now Riut is forced to just scramble up walls. It's not looking good for Brazil. I think the score is deceiving. The team score, the military score, which is the most important thing right now. Better for China. Onagers will not do anything against this many plumed archers and paladins. And Miguel just can't find a way in. Anytime he tries, licks free walls. And Riut can't defend himself. I feel like if Miguel has to help here, the game's already lost, you know? Because Miguel's only fighting, the only one fighting for his team. He needs to be pushing. He needs to kill. So the fact that he would need to defend here is a big problem for Brazil. It's a sign that the sling has not worked. Yo sending the plumes down this way. I don't think there's any holes here. And maybe Miguel can clean up the plumes. The plumes are kind of trapped. Now they'll sit next to the woodline if they expect eagles to show up. But I think those plumes will die. Riut will lose his castle. What about the front? Yeah, Miguel's losing buildings. Yeah, that's as good as it gets for the plumed archers in this position. Just sit next to the woodline. They will eventually die, though. And there's the signal. Who's that signal from? Is that from... Looks like Mr. Yo saying, hey, send your paladins this way. Or at least saying, hey, we need to avoid that area. And Riut's on the way to Imp. Wow, okay. Now, this is the problem. SY is now adding trade. They already have lots of numbers. 50 paladins, 70 plumed archers. And Riut doesn't have any military at the moment to help with. So they need to catch up in a big, big way. And I do feel like the score is going to start shifting closer and closer and more into SY's favor as Riut's on the way to Imp. Riut will... I don't know what he's going to do. He has 67 trade. He's been trading for his whole team. So he'll have a lot of gold income. So maybe he can get his camel upgrades and get his camel numbers. But I think in the meantime, Miguel's going to take some losses, right? Because Miguel cannot do this alone. Now, Miguel doesn't have stone walls here. And honestly, the paladins and plumes could just run right into Miguel's base. Now, they might see that as a risk, because they know that Miguel has 90 eagles out and about, but could do that. And here come the eagles from Miguel. My goodness, the swarm. Out of nowhere, these eagle warriors swooping in. I don't know, though. I like the fight for SY. What do you think, guys? I like the initial fight for SY a lot. Problem is, if Miguel is receiving the gold that Riut's getting with 67 trade cards, maybe Miguel can send more eagles in, and maybe Miguel can win this fight. He has the home field advantage. He's producing from barracks very close to this engagement. Miguel's at 90 military still. Miguel's still at 90 military. So maybe Riut will have the time. He's about to hit the Imperial Age. He'll start with the Imperial Camel soon. What a game this is. Lix and Yo just win this fight and they just hold this position. But this is before the camels arrive. And oh, maybe they'll just run in. Maybe they'll just run in right now. So hard to judge, man. So hard to judge. Miguel's looking to get into the SY Eco. Yo sees it. Look at that. Immediately sees it. Blocks it off with houses. I don't think Miguel will have any luck here getting into the trade. No overchops incoming. I say that and... Don't chop that tree, man. Gotta be careful. Into the trade now is Lix. Into the trade now is Yo. Where is Riut? Where is Riut? Trade's going down. Now, this might help Riut. He has 67 trade cards. That's too much. Kill 20 trade cards. That means he can make 20 more camels, right? But goodness, it's going to be a lot more than 20 at this rate. And Brazil calls the GG. Brazil taps out. They call the GG. Wow. Well, what a game, man. What a game. I'm so surprised SY won that game. They won the game. They weren't even top scorer. That's so rare. That is so rare. I thought Lix was dead, but he gated quickly. He castled. He held. traded nicely versus the initial batch of Eagles versus Miguel. Then somehow got resources from Yo. Yo played incredibly well. He played really well in post-Imperial. Early Imperial was his weakest point. But, I have to say, the fact that Yo was able to sling his ally back into the game while fighting against so many Eagle Warriors was impressive. The fact that Lix barely had an eco. He was at 60 vills. And Miguel was at 120 Eagles at one point, and SY held there was incredible. Could have been much easier for SY, I think. Obviously, they made it difficult for themselves once Yo lost his plumed archers. But man, what a hold, and these two teams, such incredible players. I don't think Riut did a lot wrong here. I think the sling strategy was the team strategy, and it just didn't work. I don't even think Miguel did a lot wrong. He tried to get into the trade. He did at one point. He pushed. He just couldn't break SY's hold. Cool game. Game 4 will be coming up, guys. Here's the KD. 431 kills for Miguel, 500 deaths. Wow. I am interested to see the sling amount. 37,000 resources sent. That's mostly food and mostly gold. All of that was sent right to Miguel. Was not enough. And someone pointed out no coinage. So, yeah, there is a tax on sling. I know many people might be new to the game. A lot of people have questions in regards to the whole sling strategy. It's been nerfed many, many times in the game. There's a tech that you can research called coinage, though, which reduces the tax. So if you're sending 1,000 without coinage, then they're receiving, or if you're losing 1,000, I guess they're receiving a lot less because of that tax. Coinage could have helped there. Coinage could have helped. Is sling more effective in 3v3? I don't know if it's more or less effective. I would say that sling is... Well, actually, I'd say sling is probably more effective with less players. You obviously can't sling in a 1v1. You can't sling yourself. But 2v2, sling is probably the most effective because you only have 2 players. So 1v2 is more possible, whereas if you have a 4v4 and you have one player slinging another, it still ends up being like a 3v4 or a 4v3 situation, so the other team has more units to hold with. Just my thoughts on it. I could be wrong on that, but that's the logic I apply to it. But there's a risk associated with it, obviously. Like, the risk is, if it doesn't work, you're just dead. You normally can't come back. I thought for a moment there that Riut could come back, but I think that by the time we would have gotten Imp Camel, Miguel would have died. 160 Vil Sling is useless when your partner makes Eagles, which only cost gold. Yeah, I did say that I thought full plumed Archer could have worked. But it seems to me like the Sling was so late, Spice, that if Miguel would not have gone Eagles, I think that Lix would have gotten to Paladin. Because the damage that Miguel did inside Lix's eco could not have been done with plumes. So that means that Lix would have had more economy remaining, and then he would have at least had a big ball of Cavalier with Yo's plumes. So anyway, that's my thought on it. Really cool game. The next game coming up is going to be Ghost Lake, I believe. Ghost Lake. Okay. So currently, China is up 2-1. This is a best of 5. They could win this, move on to face Vietnam in the semifinals of this event. If they win this game or the next, Brazil they cannot lose. Cannot lose game number 4 or 5, otherwise they're out of the event. Yeah, Joshua, I see it, man. Riut had the easiest game of his life, I guess. He didn't need to do much except wall and sling. Pick Indians to counter Franks, proceeds to use sling for Indians. Yeah, Carlos, I didn't like the Indians pick. I agree. It's easy to say now, though, Carlos. Like, if the sling would have worked, we wouldn't be having this conversation, right? So, I think that if you choose Indians, obviously you could go with a civ like Saracens or Turks, a civ that's known for slinging, but then your opponent knows you're going to sling. So, you choose a civ like Indians or Franks and go into a sling, they might not expect it. I don't know. So complicated, man. This is such a beautiful esport. So many amazing players. So many amazing fans, by the way. Awesome number of people here right now. Duck's a savior with 100 bits at T90 Official. You are a legend. Thank you for making our days brighter, happier, and full of T90 farm. Oh man, that took a downward turn there. I heard something about you getting a job offer from Santa. Is it true you'll be gifting AoE2 discs to kids across the globe? No. I did not get a job offer from Santa. I will be gifting some copies of Age of Empires 2 in my 24-hour stream, though. But that is not Santa's doing. That is just my doing. I'm excited to do that. Also, there'll be merchandise giveaways. There'll be some other fun, like, non-Age of Empires 2 giveaways. Like, well, I think I'm going to be giving away a PC. Still working on the details. I'm working on things to give back to the community for the support they've given me. So, obviously don't want to give out too many details until it's announced. But I am teasing, so... 24-hour stream, chat. Not 48 hours, 24-hour stream. Tell you what, though. Bogus45 has subbed to the stream for 2 years. Bogus, thank you, man. Thank you for everything. Been around a long, long time. Sandsjar, a Tidal, and Chef Boy, thank you for the subs and resubs. As we get into Game 4, Twitch chat, can we please get some love and some hype going? These games have been awesome. I'm happy to be bringing it to so many of you. And we have Ghost Lake. Ghost Lake. Game number 4 between China and Brazil. Let's do this. In the blue, we have Yo. He's playing as the Mongols. This is a civilization we saw Brazil win with in Game 1. Mongols for Yo. And then we have Indians for Licks in the red. In the green, we have Miguel. Miguel is playing as the Franks. And then we have Britons for Riut. You know what? Oh, I don't know what I think about this. I think Mongols are arguably the weakest civ here. And let me tell you why. Mongols have a really awkward transition from Castle Age to Imp. So Mongols, let's just assume that the Mongol player, who will be Mr. Yo, let's just assume he opens up with scouts here, okay? He'll open up with scouts. He'll probably... Well, actually, he'll open up with scouts, but he might then go into cav archers or archers. Then he has to transition into castles and Mangadai, which is tough. Whereas if you have a civilization like Britons, which is what Riut has, you start feudal age with archers, and you continue with those archer ranges throughout the whole game. And we'll touch more on this as I have time, but I think that this could be awkward for Mr. Yo. He could, of course, start off with foot archers, but eventually would have to switch into the Mangadai. A nice defense from Riut here, though. Yo came out to lame, and Riut is able to save his sheep there. He'll need to protect his pig here as well. There will be laming if Yo has his way with a Mongol scouting bonus. Didn't see the pig, though. So I guess Brazil lucks out there, and Yo's going back home. Ducks just gifted us something. Oh! God! That dumb alert. I hate it. It's supposed to be quieter. I'm so sorry. Yo, what is going on here? Yo. What? What? What just happened? Not the donation from Nega. You said you can't touch your nose with your tongue. No, I can't. I just tried. I can't. Thank you for the $100 donation. And I'm sorry, guys, but what just happened with that villager? Did you see that? What did he do there? Can someone explain that to me? Like, I don't know what he did. He, like, built 3 palisades, ran around in a circle. Was he considering laming his own boar or something? That was weird. Anyway, I genuinely feel bad when this happens. So, I'm really bad with switching my alerts. I've been streaming so much I haven't been able to get to it. So I'm super sorry that I just probably freaked out a lot of people. To any parents out there who are watching Age of Empires 2 with speakers on, I apologize for you playing Baby Shark throughout your house because your kids are probably going to get that back in their head again and want to see that video a couple dozen times today. I don't know what happened with the Vill, but Yo brings in the boar. No problems there. At first, I thought that he had a weak villager and he was trying to save it. But then I realized the Vill was on full HP. Nega, thank you. Really interesting dono message, man. But it's super generous donation. Thank you, man. Thank you. Okay. So he got Loom after that. So perhaps it had to be something about he was scared of losing a villager. I think he would have been fine, though. Lix will probably go scouts for SY. He'll probably go scouts into camels. Has to be. He's already clicking up the feudal age. We will see scouts for Miguel for sure. Scouts into the knights that Franks offer. Yo, with a poor start. Pretty poor start by Mongol standards anyway, to not be clicked up now.
Food, please.
Poxo, one of the admins of the tournament, in the spectator chat said, Yo had a retarded Dark Age. Idle TC, 3 vills to take 4. Well, thank you, Poxo. I'm just going to shut that chat off there. But yeah, Yo is definitely later to feudal age than he should be, so it was a poor Dark Age for him. Riut lost a Vill to a Boar? He did lose a Vill to a Boar. Wow, okay, so sloppy for both of them, actually. It's something that won't hurt Riut as much, because he'll be later to the next stage anyway when going archers. So he just needs to work on getting some walls up before the scouts arrive. Yeah, so I tend to mute the spectator chat. My bad. My bad. There's the barracks from Yo. I wonder, yeah, it's got to be scouts for him, I guess. This is what makes it awkward for SY. They'll have 2 players going scouts. So initially they'll be much stronger, but as the archers mass from Riut, it gets complicated. But holy sheep licks. Holy sheep. That's a lot of sheep, man. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He has 9 sheep remaining. It's what happens on Ghost Lake. Sometimes you'll have some remaining sheep or some extra sheep in the center. Should probably send some of those. He is, yeah, he's sending some of those over to his ally here. Yo might have found those on his own, but still, Yo's out of food underneath his TC. There's the stable for Yo. Walls will be coming up. And this is not a fight that Lix can take on the other side. I don't know, it's kind of an iffy start for me. Like, a lot of these small things are just not going into SY's favor. Except for the sheep, of course. And Riut, well, take his good old time making his archers here. Nothing troubling him right now. So the scout rush is better for Franks, I think, because they have the extra HP. You also have to consider that the Indian player does have cheaper villagers, so they save more food, which helps with creating scouts. Helps with just adding economy, which is the base of all Age of Empires 2 decisions and strategies. SY already starting their massive wall off. You can't team wall on Ghost Lake because of the ice, or in this case, the sand. I have a no snow mod on. It's not very festive, I know. We have the Christmas bushes, but we don't even have snow or ice. I'll have to get on fixing that, but we do have Rudolph. And look at that. Lix, shoot that. Shoot that. That's free food. Oh, man. Well, I think it'll run back. That's amazing, man. The fact that he can get that is amazing. And right next to his mill. Now, an early tower from Lix, so he's thinking of getting out to gold, and he's a bit scared of the archers incoming from Riut, most likely. You can either wall it out, or you have to tower it, because you have no way of defending when Miguel has 5 to 6 scouts, and Riut has 10 plus archers with fletching. There's no way you can hold from that in this situation. The only thing you could do, really, is make a lot of extra scouts in SY's shoes, but the problem with that is you'll have a later castle time than Miguel then, and you don't want that, so you just have to hold. Does that make sense? Like, you could of course create more scouts and it would probably kill the archers, but then your castle time would be so late that the other Brazilian player, Miguel, would be up to knights faster. And here comes Miguel, and oh, that is really hard for me to judge. Miguel chooses to take the fight. He kills a villager. He'll lose 2 scouts. And he'll kill... that was pretty good for SY, actually. I think that the reason Miguel took that fight was because he didn't see the rest of the numbers from Yo until he was too far in. And here come the archers now from Riut, but I think that's the reasoning there. And now Lix is hearing from Yo that he needs to come back, and he's doing so. Probably a wise move, as the walls are already completed for Miguel. Sub on him, gifted a sub to T90 official too. People aren't supposed to know about my secret account, man. Come on, you can't gift subs to that. Nice to know that I can use my own emotes on both my accounts, though. Yeah, what's up with the deer? Did he shoot that? It's still here. Okay, so he could still take that, but before it was right next to the mill. Riut needs a little bit more archers. And he needs Miguel here. Where did Miguel go? Miguel is 5 military. Where is it? Oh, there he is. I don't know why I couldn't see that. T90 blinds. And he loses his scout. Okay. So Lix has invested into bloodlines, and he's getting scale parting. So he is investing into more scout upgrades and more scouts. Which again should give him a later castle time than Miguel, but perhaps they just want to keep Riut back. Yo has quite a few scouts as well. It's just they can't get into the base of their opponent. So the only thing they can do is trade versus army. Now I'm wondering what Yo will do. Oh wow, he's already going to stone. Man, these SY players and their stone. What would they be without stone? So interesting. Already going to stone. That can't be for Castle H Mangadai, right? It's got to be to go with Lix's strat that Lix used last game. Just massive stone walls. Interesting. Well, building a market as well. I think that's just to balance his eco. I don't think he'll sling. Lix has invested a lot of food into those scout upgrades, of course, but he's Indian, so he saves food, creating vills. He cooks up to Castle H right behind Miguel. So still big question marks over what Mr. Yo will do in this game. Will he go with knights and camels in the next stage? He could. Should he? I don't know if it helps much. Because Brazil will be in a stronger situation. 2 stable Frank knights, plus a ton of Britain crossbows. That's why he hasn't done anything to kill these units. There's really nothing they can do right now to kill these units. They'd have to wait till Castle Age. I think Castle Age is going to be brutal for Mr. Yo. I just don't see what he can do. He can defend with the Siege Workshop or 2, but even that's going to be tough. This puts a lot of pressure on Lix to make camels, and Lix is going 2 stables as well, which is a good decision. Still hasn't taken the deer. Like, that small detail has been so triggering for me. I mean, it's not a big deal at all, but I'm just weird like that. Nice fight for Brazil. And they might focus down the stable and the houses. The other area is stonewalled, but this area is not. Yeah. And Yo will not be able to make any knights or camels if this stable goes down. And it probably will go down. Also, Yo will lose lumberjacks. Yo needs to run, man. Mongols... The only reason you can pull off a win with Mongols is if your ally is doing a fantastic job or is ahead. We saw that in game 1 today. When Brazil had Huns and Mongols, Riut was ahead big time. And so Mongols eventually worked out. But I think Mongols are far too awkward in Castle Age. Yo obviously knew this because he went to stone, but what's his plan? Chain barding on the way for Miguel and Lix, so they're even there. Again, it will be camels for Lix, it will be knights for Miguel. I do see 3 stables for Lix, so he knows he needs to be really aggressive to help his team. And probably just town centers for Miguel. Yeah, so Brazil will have more economy in the long run, but slightly less military, at least with the stable units. A castle for Mr. Yo. A castle for Mr. Yo. Well, that's something that Brazil sees. They will instantly know they'll have an eco lead, because when you invest into a castle, you're not going to be able to build TCs. They will also know that Castle H Mangadai are not very strong. Until they're massed, until they're early imp Mangadai, they're not all that good. And, ooh, Lix shows up. Lix wants to take this fight. Now, what's interesting about this is, Riut does not have his upgrades in yet. So if there's any time to take a fight for SY, this will be it. They could possibly buy Yo the time that he needs. It's decent. It's not great, but that's a decent fight right there. In fact, that could be great. They killed a few more of these archers. Yeah, 15 deaths for Riut. 4 kills, 15 deaths. That was the perfect time. Riut and Miguel venturing too far forward, and Lix saving the day there. Just for a moment, though. There's gonna be a huge power spike once crossbow and bodkin arrow finishes, and Brazil's right on top again. Lix did kill a lot of crossbows, but he invested a lot of expensive camels in to do that. So he's only at 8 military now, so he's lacking numbers. And now this is something that's still very difficult for him to fight. So Yo's making Mangadai, which have 6 range, versus the 8 range Britain crossbows. And I don't think that Yo can help Lix out much. Lix sends that scout out intentionally to scout what's incoming, and now he sees the trouble. His gold is right here. He doesn't have a TC here. Why? Because he had to invest in so many camels. And already Miguel's taking an eco lead. Riut is taking an eco lead. And at the moment, I'd say they have a military lead as well. So more towers from Lix. That's not a good sign for him. He loses these villagers. He could lose these camels. I think we could be on our way to game 5, guys. 2 more villagers down. There's 1 more villager down for Lix. These Mangadai don't stand a chance, man. They don't really stand a chance against massed crossbows. It has to be Lix. Lix could win this with sheer numbers, but I don't think he has enough. One issue for Miguel and Riut is they stood underneath the tower fire this whole time. So Miguel has some weak knights. Where did those wolves come from? Where did those wolves come from? Where do they come from? Goodness gracious. Well, yeah, so anyway, I mean, there's some weak crossbows and some weak knights here. Also, Lix is producing his units really close by, as is Yo. Yo's kind of cutting off these units from leaving. I think Riut and Miguel recognize that, so they're just choosing to just fight and die here as they create more armies, send more forward. They might not die here, though. 2 Mangadai down, they can't close in on the crossbows. 60 vills for Miguel. 42 for Lix. Insane difference. Riut has 56 vills. It's actually 54 for Mr. Yo. But again, Mr. Yo can't fight in Castle Age with Mongols, at least not versus Britons. I think this is trouble for China. But how many times have I said that, guys? I think I said that in every game so far today, and China's up 2-1, so this team just knows how to survive. Soup 4000, thank you for the $5.55 donation. He says, love watching your stream, best caster out there, T90. Thank you, man. Thank you, Scott, for the 9-month resub. He said, Te amo, T90. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, guys. Yeah, I'm not feeling myself right now because of the lack of sleep, but I'm really enjoying myself. I'm excited because Game 5 could be on the way, and that's what I like to see out of every series. T90 official's voice is deeper than ×2 speed. I actually have listened to myself on double speed before. Ooh. Well, hold the phone. I'm about to start talking faster for you. My voice is about to get a lot higher pitched because we have a forward castle incoming. What? And that is a ballsy castle, but it's actually brilliant. It's actually brilliant. I believe Riut has spotted this because Riut has the scout there. But if they get the castle up here, this could disrupt. Oh boy, this could disrupt Riut. This could also be suicide. Oh boy. Well, I think Brazil's aware of this. Mr. Yo, you do not have enough Mangadai. Miguel sends some stone to Riut, so Riut can build a tower to stop this. And Riut has picked off a bunch of those villagers. But hey, Lix is here with the camels, so the villagers can go back to work. The castle is at 55%. The tower's finished. Is the tower going to deny this? The tower could easily stop this. What a play from Brazil. If this is indeed what stops the castle, and it will. 62%. All the military is coming back from Riut and Miguel. Yo will not get the castle up. And the GG is called.
Merry Christmas.
So the nice hold there from Brazil, and they win the game. We'll move on to game 5 to see who's the best between these two countries. Again, Mongols are a very strong post-imp civ. They're a very strong early feudal civ, but it's a tough civ to play with because of the awkward stages in Castle Age. If Mangadai were stronger in Castle Age, which they should never be, by the way, because they're beastly and imp, it should be tough to get to this unit. But anyway, if Mongols had a stronger unit or a better unit in Castle Age, then maybe it'd be different. You could say that instead of going for the castle, what Yo should have done is go into regular crossbows, but he's up against Britain crossbows. So he would be outranged anyway. So very good civ selection there and really good play from Riut and Miguel. So we'll move on to game 5, guys, and I'm excited for this. We will have a 2v2 islands to settle this. A 2v2 islands. So they can't repeat civs. We saw Malians on Nomad from both of them. We have not seen Italians yet. So Tato's in the Twitch chat, and I see a few Tato emotes. Tato, I'm thinking Malay, and it's got to be Malay and Italians for both, right? Malay Italians, you could have Japanese Italians. I think that there's got to be Italians for both teams. You could do Vikings as well. Yes, it will be Team Islands, guys. Yeah, we won't have Malians Tato because they've both already chosen Malians. It's just interested in your input if it's not that. Well, how many people watching this right now saw the 2v2 islands between China and China, between SY and Frantic? As Tato says, SY likes to land. Okay, a lot of you. If you didn't see it, check it out on YouTube. It was an amazing game. I uploaded it just the other day, okay? Probably one of the best 2v2 islands I've seen because the landing is so much fun to see. I've never seen an AoE game before. Well, Flo, that's why all your recommendations for the players' decisions were so confusing. That's why your comments didn't make any sense earlier. Just kidding, bro. Just kidding. Flo's been around a long time, and he gives me a hard time, so. Well, we'll find out. 50 seconds now. Really hyped to be close to 2,000 viewers watching this. Game 5 coming up between China and Brazil. This is the quarterfinals of the 2v2 AoE World Cup, organized by Nacho AoE. Shout out to Nacho. If you guys speak Spanish, check out his channel. I think he's streaming this live at the moment. He also has YouTube videos. Let's do this. All right, ladies and gents, welcome to a 2v2 Islands. I was just saying to my Twitch audience that I love it. I love the meta now because it's very land heavy, as in landings. We've seen transports many times on 2v2s. Tato's hyped. Tato's in the Twitch chat. He was saying how SY likes to land. Will we see that again? This is game 5 of best of 5 between Brazil and China, or SY. This is in the 2v2 AoE2 World Cup. And whoever wins this moves on to face Vietnam with what will probably be another thrilling best of 5. The map is one of the weirdest islands maps you will see. Look at this nonsense. Look at this nonsense. What is that map, man? I've never seen an island like this before. There's this 2-tile road that Yo and Lix have between the two. This puts them at an extreme disadvantage. So I'm not an admin, so it's hard for me to say what the decision would be here. If there's a gold, for example, that cannot be accessed, they would do what's called an admin restart. I feel like this is... If this is not an admin restart, this is a re that China needs to take, because on islands, to have so little land in the center is a problem. And they would have till the 4-minute mark to call a restart. So let's see. I don't know if the admins will call a re. I don't know what the rules are specifically on islands. You can see the signals from Lix. But my guess is that we'll have the same civs and we'll probably replay this. That's pretty ridiculous. Now the funny thing would be, if they play it out, wouldn't it be funny if Brazil goes to land and they go to show up in the center and they land here, and then Yo walls on this side and Lix walls on this side, and then the units are trapped? Like, they wouldn't be able to hide anywhere. That's one benefit of it. What's the decision going to be? They would have until the 4-minute mark. There's been no pause. Are they going to play this one? Game on. Game on. We got a game. Okay. Well, I guess we'll find out what SY will plan to do here. SY, they like to land. So, I guess if they're going to be aggressive, who cares what their island looks like? There's the dock for Lix. Lix is playing as the Vikings. And then we have Mr. Yo. Mr. Yo's playing as the Italian. So they scouted the imbalance, or at least Lick scouted the imbalance and the island. Didn't seem to care, and they're moving on. Okay. Well, then you have Riut for Brazil. He's playing as the Japanese. And then we have Vikings for Miguel. So we actually don't have Italians. I'm surprised. Italians are known as one of the best, if not the best, water civs now. And we do not see the Italians pick for Brazil. Interesting dock placement for Miguel. This tells me that he might go fast castle longboats, guys. Longboat is a classic, unique unit. Didn't see it too often back in the AOC days, the AOC balance, but you don't need a castle to produce them now. You can produce them in Castle Age as Vikings, and because Miguel is docked on the back, that tells me that he'll be slightly less aggressive in Feudal Age. Probably live with his fish as long as possible. Go to Castle Age and make longboats. Maybe Riut will be the aggressor for his team. Riut is going to dock. Yeah, he's actually docked to this corner. It's hard for me to see because of the blue. The benefit of Japanese is that the fishing ships have armor, and it's really difficult to kill Japanese fishing ships. So Riut actually have more of his food eco alive, despite potentially being 2v1s on water. But I'm assuming an awful lot here. We still don't know if Yo and Lix are going to land. If they are to land, then obviously it would complicate Miguel's decision or Miguel's strategy to go fast castle. It's important if you're Brazil to scout the mainland, to scout these islands. Keep an eye on this because you could easily see a transport come in from the enemy team. Yeah, there's a few extra boars on Brazil's map. There's boars here, but you won't see players bringing them in. It really won't be a factor. And Yo, forward dock. Half of the way to Feudal Age. He'll be in Feudal Age before the 10-minute mark. Looks like a water build. No transport. He should be going water. What will Lix do? Lix is on the way to Feudal Age. Building a mill. That's interesting. And he's transporting, baby! Let's go! Let's go! I was gonna say, if he's building a mill, that tells me he's probably not going for full galley rush. He's transporting. Okay. So... And Loom also was an indicator. Where is he going to go, guys? Where is he going to go? And will Brazil see it? Let's go. Shh. Don't say anything. Shh. Did you notice that? That was amazing. That was amazing. Lix noticed the fishing ship. He got the heck out of there. He backed away real quick. And then immediately Riut signaled it. He's like, whoa, wait. We got a problem here, Miguel. There's been a transport sighting. That was hilarious. Riut saw it immediately. Top player to see that, man. Top player to see that on the minimap. And Lix changes directions. Man, these SY guys, every time I see them try and lands now, people spot it. And Lix is changing position. But just seeing that is a huge deal, because now Riut knows to build a barracks. And he'll probably have Miguel help with his scout. Lix is going to build archery ranges, right? Oh, a stable, okay. So, sometimes you could go archers there. I actually like the scouts more, because scouts are a bit faster and can hit both players. I just want to keep an eye on Miguel. I was actually incorrect. Miguel will not go fast castle, so he's going feudal galley rush. And remember, Mr. Yo is going with the fire galleys. So it will take Miguel a little bit of time to be in a stronger situation there, because the fire galleys need to be massed, and you need to get fletching first for them to be strong. But here we go. I mean, Riut spots this. Lix also signaled. Did you see the communication there? He signaled the right-hand side, and where's Yo going with his fire? The right-hand side. Now, Lix has to fight with his villagers and his scouts. And he does a great job! He does a great job! He doesn't lose a single scout, at least not yet. And for now, he's holding, but just the fact that Riut has built the barracks, just the fact that Riut can send out spears, especially as Japanese, means that he could stall this out or just stop it entirely. And here comes the fire, but I don't think the fire is going to be enough for Mr. Yo to do any damage to Miguel, and Lix has to leave. Riut reacted properly after seeing the initial landing. He scouted it, he built the barracks, he sent spears, he's actually created his own scouts in defense. Better safe than sorry. And now he will wall up the stable, and that's a huge loss for SY on land. But Lix is not done. He plays for SY, and he's looking for a new spot to land, so We'll have to keep an eye on this. Also, we have to keep an eye on Riut's fishing ships. Riut's going to lose a few of these. Also need to keep an eye on the Navy. Miguel's still no fletching. He's probably just about to build his blacksmith. But he could be delayed, remember? He could be delayed. The whole thought process behind this landing thing is that Lix is able to delay Miguel and Riut and distract Miguel and Riut, and Yo has a free boom and free fight on water without any distractions. So Brazil has their fish on the move. At least Riut does. Miguel has his villagers on the move. A forward barracks from Lix so he can make some spearmen. Now he's making an archer range. Lix is not done. So he cannot make scouts, but he's getting use out of the scouts he has. Riut has to send scouts over on land to defend his territory, and he's probably not expecting the spearmen. Oh, that's a good play from Lix. And that's going to surprise Riut. I don't think Riut was even watching, because why should he watch? It was just scouts, right? Well, no, there was a spearman. The stubbornness of Lix really working out here, and I think Miguel could be in trouble soon, because archers are going to be on the way from Lix. Lix is now making ranges, and Miguel's fully focused on water. He can't defend from archers. And I don't think that Riut can then defend with scouts, because the scouts will die to the spears and the archers. So this is... Honestly, they make it look so easy. The whole landing thing, it looks so easy when SY does it. It's incredible. I think the best way to beat the landing is land yourself. Because Riut spotted it. He did everything right. He made his own scouts. He made his own spears. He walled up the stable. And yet still, SY, you're doing a good job. There's a lot of land presence here. But let's see. Nice tower. That's actually a perfect tower from Miguel. And on water, he could win now, right? He could win. Also, Riut's on the way to Castle Age. Okay, so this is getting interesting. Riut's somehow on the way to Castle Age. What about Yo? Yo's not anywhere. No! Yo's just clicked up! Yo's just clicked up to Castle Age. Man, is this close. Wow, okay. Well, I said this was a perfect tower for Miguel. But it's not a perfect tower if Lix positions one on this side. I think the perfect tower would have been here or here. Archers incoming, and does Miguel have any other gold to run to? I don't see any. Oh, there's some there. That tower won't be denied, at least for now, and Miguel could lose out on some gold. Now, guys, the island for Lix, it's so awkward. If there's a landing here, or even if there's full water control for Brazil, they can control so much more because of what SY's island looks like. They didn't call a restart. The admins didn't call a restart. Not worth talking about now, I suppose. But, man, now Lix is on the way to Castle Age. What about Miguel? Can Miguel get there? He's still pretty far away. Lix must think that he'll be landed. He's walling up his base. Look at this. He's playing arena now. A lot on gold at home. He's done his job. He's done his job. His job has been to delay Riut and to delay Miguel, not necessarily to kill them. And Yo should take a pretty big advantage. Yo will probably add town centers. He could win out on water easily. In fact, he should win water, right? Because Miguel won't be in castle. At least not soon. Miguel loses a Ville there, and Miguel is scrambling now. What is the decision from Riut? 2 stable knights, so he's sending knights in support. They clean this up, becomes a very different situation for his team. We'll probably see a monastery from Lix. Going for his own stable now, actually. But I think a monastery or 2 would be a smart move from Lix to convert any enemy knights. And yeah, he sees the knights here now. Economically, Riut... This is kind of hard to judge, I'll admit, guys. You know, he's just on 1 TC right now, but he's pumping out a lot of knights. Lix needs to keep his villas alive. Nice quick walls, but... You know, he's lost his archers there. He's lost his archers here. That's an issue. He's only at 2 military right now. That was the worst possible time to lose his archers. He needed to upgrade them. I think he'll place a monastery. There's the monastery. Riut sees all of this, and Riut is surrounding this. Now, this is where Miguel needs to build a dock real quick right there. Make a demo and boom. But guys, keep an eye on Mr. Yo's Vil count. Mr. Yo is adding his second and third TC, and nothing is distracting him at the moment. Now, he might need to deal with Miguel on water, but I feel like Miguel's water threat will be very weak. Miguel's only at 6 military, and Miguel could lose his fish. So sure, Lix might not have the most dominant position right now, but the whole idea is to give Yo a free boom, and to get Yo to the Imperial Age quickly. And Riut has been delayed, and Miguel has been delayed. So I think that this is still going according to plan for SY. Lix is now making pikemen. Viking pikemen might not be something you see all the time, but it's a great addition. 63 HP here. I don't like the fact that the monk popped out of the monastery there. Is probably a bit rushed. The monk just goes down, but it's a sign of what is to come. It is the sign of what is to come. More monks, more crossbows, more pikemen. Surprise! My goodness, all of a sudden Lix is at 17 military, and Miguel doesn't have anything here to protect himself. I heard a demo up here. Miguel making longboats, trying to protect what little fish he has left. Actually, he has 0 fish. He lost all of them. Wow, a lot to follow. And now a siege workshop. So Lix started with a stable. He went to a barracks. He went to 2 archery ranges, then a stable, then a monastery. Now a siege workshop. This could be game over. Miguel is way too far behind. Miguel's at 38 villagers. It's 51 villagers for Mr. Yo. Lix actually has more villagers than Riut does. And there's also more fish for SY. And I don't see how Riut can attack these monks and pikemen and crossbows. You can't with Japanese knights. Incredible stuff from SY, man. And people expect it. People expect it. And they're definitely at the disadvantage with the island, but it doesn't matter. If all the focus is on your opponent's island, who cares? Brilliant strategy. Now, I will say, Miguel, he has longboats. So if he can push back on water, that's something. But Yo seems to be equal to that at the moment. Oh, that's a lot of knights and a big engagement. This is an engagement Riut needs to win. And I think he will win it. I think he will win the engagement. Now, the scary thing is that Lix is just still here. Still making crossbows, still making monks, still making pikes. But that's something. That helps. Miguel can take his gold back. You know, he's had this gold. I don't know, though. 65 vils now for Mr. Yo. 65 vils. Conversion for Lix. And there's 3 battering rams. Lix is going for the jugular. He's going right for Miguel's TC. He doesn't care. He knows that his ally is in a good position. At this rate, Mr. Yo will have a lightning fast imp time with a lot of economy behind it. And I just don't see how Brazil can combat that. Yo could go full water at that point and just take out the docks, surround the Brazilians. He could then just land and go Arbalest. Or he could go Condotieros or something. Riut can't save that TC. That's how bad the situation is for Brazil. He can't save the TC. This is GG territory. They recognize that Yo has a free boom, but this is game 5 and a best of 5. I think they should continue to try, but what can they do, man? It's gotta be Riut. Riut's trying to boom. He's trying to send knights, but knights are not the answer. Or it's just not gonna be enough. Down goes the tower. Miguel's losing villager after villager. 39 vills for him. Can Miguel justify slinging here, maybe? I don't think so. I mean, I don't see what sling really gives you. He doesn't have a lot to sling, right? I think SY are going to take this. Riut is trying his best. Actually, I think he just sniped both of Lix's villagers, which is nice. But the damage has already been done. That's Miguel's only TC. That's his only TC. He didn't even run ahead of time, which is really peculiar. You would think he would have left here already. So he's down to 28 villagers now. Riut's forced to send in the knights. He loses a lot of knights to conversion. The rest to pikemen. That's got to be the game right there, man. The strategy that SY is known for, the strategy that that people expect from SY, worked. on this island.
Merry Christmas.
On this island. Wow, and yeah, I believe that, yeah, I love how Lix, just one small thing to point out there, Lix converted a Vil, so he was going back to finish that TC. So even if things were much worse for SY, Lix would have finished that TC. Oh my god, what a game, man. What a game. What a series. I can't even say that Brazil did a lot wrong initially. It's just that the strategy choice to land is so strong on 2v2 islands. Because again, Riut spotted the landing, he knew it was coming. He built a barracks. Perhaps the only thing, maybe he shouldn't have gone scouts. Maybe he should have built the barracks for spears and gone archers. If he did that, the villagers couldn't have walled themselves in, and if he had archers, he could have killed those villagers. And then he would have at least been equal to the amount of archers of Lix. Like, maybe that's it. I still question that, though, because if you remember, it was really important for Brazil that Riut had a few scouts initially, and that was the only reason that he was able to wall up the stable. So, I think that the best way to counter the strategy is do the exact same thing. I think. Because remember, the China A versus China B matchup, Vivi and Tim versus Yo and Lix, they just both did the same thing, and it was an even game. Because the only way I see this being positive for Brazil is if they immediately stomp the landing out. They have to immediately stomp it out. But I don't see how you can. Like, any smart player is going to at least remain a threat. And that's what Lix was. He was a threat. And he slightly distracted Miguel, then he slightly distracted Riut, gave Yo a huge lead, and then it snowballed. So, I don't know. It's a strong strat. I'm impressed with it. And China moves on. We're going to see China and Vietnam in the next spot of this, the words are hard. Next series in this tournament, I guess. That'll be in the semifinals. That'll be a lot of fun. Another best of 5 there. 55 units killed for Yo, but look at the eco. His Vil count at the end was 90. Yeah, it's going to be too much for Brazil to come back from. I'm a bit disappointed for Brazil. I love the guys. They're obviously great players, but someone has to lose, right? And so they go down, and they go out of this event. Let me pull up the brackets for you guys after updating the scores. Yeah, so we do have another set to cast in about 2.5 hours. So if you guys are going to be around, you'll want to see that. I'm saying guys a lot today. Do I do that a lot, guys?